And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Britain Sports Network. I'm Jim Funderburg, along with Jim Bellamy and our buddy John Belolo, also in the booth with us here on a windy Saturday afternoon from the campus of Albion College, as the Britons today take on the Thunder from Trine. And Trine comes in today at a perfect 4-0, but they have not played in the conference yet. And the four teams, Jim, that they've started with here early on, one would question maybe the authenticity of 4 consecutive wins and a 4-0 start for a team like Trine.
Well, in some cases, you look at your schedule, and you can only play the games that are scheduled. So you have to tip your hat to the Trine Thunder for going 4-0 out of conference. A couple of the teams came from the HCAC just south of us, and then they also played a couple teams out west, Wisconsin Lutheran and Concordia, Illinois. Definitely not the upper echelon teams of those conferences, but again, now they start league play, and they're going to see I'd say a relatively unhappy Britain bunch after letting that game go last week at Adrian.
I would have to think so. To your point, 5-11 is the overall record of the teams that they have defeated so far. And when you take a look at Manchester and Concordia, both, one of their wins is over Alma. And Alma, again, not considered to be necessarily a powerhouse this year in the MIAA, and so it should be an interesting afternoon. We'll get a chance to find out exactly how good these guys are. But let's just say it this way. The defense has been extremely good for these guys so far this year.
Yeah, you look at the scores of the first 4 games for the Thunder, the number of points given up, 12, 14, 7, and 7. And in the last 2 games specifically, they built a very healthy halftime lead, and then they pretty well coasted in the second half of both those games. But especially the game last week with Concordia, Illinois, they were shutting them out at halftime and only gave up 7 in the second half. I'd have to think that they went a couple, at least 2 deep, maybe 3 deep with their defense. And, that gets contagious after a while, kind of like the game we called where we were able to defeat Concordia, Wisconsin. You didn't want to give up that touchdown regardless if you're the 1s, the 2s, or the 3s on defense. And so, that's, I think, a commendable thing, that when you put your 2s and your 3s in on defense, and they are just as hungry and just as focused to do their job and keep the opposing team out of the end zone, definitely have a lot of respect for that, because it is easy when the game gets out of hand to kind of lose your focus a little bit.
Trine's defense only allowing 223 yards per game, 80 yards of rushing, 143 yards of passing. Basically allowing 10 points per game. They have picked off 9 interceptions so far this year, forced a couple of fumbles that they've scooped up. For Albion, their offense, just the opposite, 421 yards an afternoon, 253 yards passing, 168 yards rushing. So it's going to be the immovable object against the immovable force of their offense here this afternoon. On the other side of the equation, the Thunder doing a pretty good job, as they have racked up 467 yards of total offense so far on average this year, 325 of those by the run, 141 yards on the pass. And I think when you start to focus in on the key player on that offensive side for them, it is senior quarterback Evan Wise.
Yeah, Evan Wise definitely doing a good job of leading the team. And, again, you build the leads you build in the first half of those games. He's efficient, he's getting out, and he's moving the offense. You look at their third down conversion, Jim, on the season, the Thunder 28 of 55, so just a shade over 50% on third down conversions. Means that he's doing everything he needs to do to lead the offense, not getting them in third and long situations too often, and also able to move the chains and sustain the drives, which keeps the defense fresh and keeps Albion's offense off the field.
Their top threat on as far as running the football, Lamar Carswell. He's actually the number 2 running threat on their football team, because Wise basically leads them in both passing and also rushing this year. Carswell, though, 5'9", 180-pounder junior out of Toledo, San Francisco de Sales. Quite a shifty little fella. At 5'9" and 180, and we know what happened last week with that same kind of body style and that same type of running back, as we had a real tough afternoon in Adrian last week.
Yeah, the Bulldogs did a really good job of kind of mixing up the presentation of the running back. In either case, you have to give a lot of credit to the Bulldogs' offensive line. Every other possession, especially in the first half, the Brits were able to get a good push, throw in a few run blitzes from the linebackers and the safeties. But every other drive to the good for the Bulldogs, their offensive line was doing a better job getting the push. And I think in the second half, the score kind of bears that out. I think it was 20-9 was the second half score in favor of the Adrian Bulldogs. Their offensive line started to take control. And in that last drive specifically where the Brits had an opportunity to get them off the field and get one more possession, they just could not get those third and short, fourth and short stops. And that's where, as an offensive lineman, if you are telling me, hey, you go out, you win the game for me, the offensive line usually doesn't get a whole lot of credit. They just get the blame when the quarterback's taking hits and sacks and you're getting tackles for losses. So for them to put that much trust and faith in the offensive line says a lot about the momentum of that game, and it's definitely an area the Britain's defensive front needs to address.
Jose Rodriguez comes in this afternoon, the number one tackler in the conference with 51 of them. To give you a comparison for that, on the other side of the equation, the top tackler today for the Thunder has only 19 tackles on the season. So, again, to your point, Jim, I'm sure they get into the second team, the third team, so some of these young guys are out by halftime or early in the third quarter, so they don't get quite as many reps as what Jose Rodriguez has gotten. But Rodriguez, a tackling machine for the Britons here this year.
Yeah, Rodriguez all over the ball. I think to your point about the Thunder and the lack of tackles for the leading tackler, definitely want to look at the statistics to see, but on first hunch, I would say that there's probably a serious balance of that between D-line, linebacker, and secondary. And again, when you put yourself in the position that they've been in, especially the last few weeks, building a significant lead, your opposing team is pretty well going to scrap the run at that point. They're going to go all pass. And if you don't have an accurate quarterback, you're going to get a lot of errant throws, which means you're not going to get an opportunity for a tackle. So, you know, the statistics, I think in a game like today, you're going to see a little bit more of a running game from the Britons because of the wind. You'll still mix the pass in there so you don't become one-dimensional. But I think today is the kind of day where they're going to have to start making more tackles. The Brits do a good job of moving the ball. They can hit some big plays. And if you don't want to tackle, that's fine. The Britons can just go ahead and punch it in the end zone. So this is going to be, I think, the biggest test for the Thunder defense.
Our sideline reporter is always John Bololo, who is on our left right at this point in time. And, John, it is windy out there. You play lacrosse here, and you've got to know the force of this wind on a day like today and what it's going to do to this football game.
Yeah, it's going to change the way the ball goes, change the way you think about how you're going to play. Are you going to pass more? Are you going to run more? Is it going to get in your eyes and make you cry?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of obstacles.
Wind is coming almost straight across the field right now, so anybody throwing the football will not have it benefiting them as far as going with the wind or hurting them as they're going against the wind, because it's coming straight across this football field today.
Yeah, it's going to make these punts and kicks really interesting, too. I don't see anyone going deeper than 30 yards for a kick. Might just have to go for it.
It is going to be an interesting afternoon, and we'll see how the Britons' offense and their passing game especially is going to be affected by that today. And again, it's going to be an afternoon, I think, where Pat Zarnecki is going to be very critical for this football team this afternoon, maybe to step up and get some good yards on the ground today.
Yeah, and they're going to need it, too. They did not run very well against Adrian. I think they got around 60 yards, so if they want to keep this offense, keep the defense guessing, the Trine's defense, they're going to have to mix it up and really get some good runs in.
Yeah, they are. This is kind of a sparse crowd today, but you tell me that everybody's gone home for the weekend here at Albion.
Yeah, that's right. People are pretty tired after that. The midterms that just came up, so everyone just went home, just relaxed for a couple days, and then come back.
How'd the midterms go for you, John? You still going to be eligible to play lacrosse here a little later in the season?
I will be eligible, thankfully. I actually lucked out pretty well. I actually only had one real exam. The rest were just presentations. So somehow I lucked out.
There you go. So basically, the older you get, the smarter you get, is what I'm hearing with that comment right now.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I know how that works. You look over that study, that course booklet at the beginning of the quarter, and you say, which one has the easiest way to get to the end? That's how it was, at least with me.
That's
Maybe
right,
it's changed for you.
But still gives you a good education.
Yeah, you got to have a good education. Yeah, come on, man.
You know, John's challenging himself. He's fortunate this semester, the way everything is set up. But that, John, that always evens itself out too with those classes. Is you may have gotten fairly fortunate so far, but it'll even itself out as the school year goes along, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm taking 200 levels and some 300 levels, so yeah, it does even out.
No doubt about that. Well, it's going to be an interesting football game this afternoon, whether the Brits can slow down this high-powered offense that the Thunder have, and whether they can score on a defense that looks like it's awfully stingy here this year. Why don't we head down and take a little listen to the British Eights here as we get our pregame show going here on the Britain Sports Network, and we'll send it down to the field for the British Eights and their pregame show.
As the British Eight plays our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, the British Eight. Please use the uplifting and heroic anthem, celebrating the legacy of Britain football. This comes in the Albion College archive and dating back to the turn of the 20th century, arranged by DJ Postgame. Here is On to Victory.
And there you have the British Eights making their appearance and now heading off the field here as we get ready for the football game today. And I'll tell you what, it is going to be a challenge as this wind gusting up into the 20s as the day goes on, and it is moving things around in this booth, and you can probably hear our microphones being very much affected by the wind coming into the booth. In fact, it just moved our computer about 1.5 feet. Why don't we pull this window closed a little bit, Jimmy? Maybe that'll help us just a smidge. We can move that all the way over if you want to. There you go. And we'll knock this thing down just a little bit. Let's look around the conference just a little bit here today.
1, 2.
As we have a situation here where the officials starting to test their mic, and we have them hot at this point. Last week, it was Albion falling to Adrian 34-32. Trine was easily defeating Concordia, Illinois 44-7. Alma over Kalamazoo 30-10. Hope over Olivet 42-20. And today, Olivet is at Kalamazoo today, and John's going to be following that one for us today. It's a 1 o'clock kick as well. At 2 o'clock, Adrian is at Lakeland, and that's a 2 o'clock kick. And then Alma is at Hope, and that's a 6 o'clock game. So we will try to give you as many scores as we possibly can this afternoon. But for the first time this year, Jim, the Trine Thunder playing in conference, and this will be, I'm sure, a yardstick game for them today to just kind of get a feel for how they're going to do and what they expect to do here this year.
Yeah, like you and I had talked about when we were, first starting today's broadcast. 4-0, definitely respect, putting a lot of points and yardage on the board. Great defense so far, but you go back to looking at the level of competition, and I think today will be their stiffest test. The Britons, while they've been up and down, 1-3 so far in the season, they have been in those games. And when you put up 79 against a team, it looks just as impressive as when Trine puts up 55 on somebody. So, one could argue that you haven't seen the best football out of the Britons either.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a question of, can the Thunder defense keep the Britons offense to 3 and outs and not let them extend drives? And can the Britons defensive front stop the run, because it is a 2.5 to 1 ratio pretty much yardage. They're getting most of their yards on the ground, and with the wind being what it is today, you're using the run to set up the run.
Yeah,
pretty
you
much.
really are.
And your passes are going to be bubble screens, screen passes, quick outs. I don't think you're going to want to put it up any farther than, say, 10 yards down the field. If you do, I guess the other side of it, though, to just kind of look at that from a strategy standpoint, if you put it up, you're probably going to have that ball end up, the wind's going to knock it back and underthrow it. So you may also see some pass interference calls today. So, that's another kind of side thing to look at as the game progresses.
Last year, these two teams got together in Trine over in Indiana, and the Brits lost 35-16. Trine had 443 total yards to 311 for the Britons. 259 yards rushing last year for the Thunder. Albion only 35 yards of rushing offense last year against this team. Brits had 4 interceptions on that afternoon, which really cost them dearly. Anthony Waite had a touchdown for an interception. Colin Poore had 50 yards of receiving that afternoon and a touchdown. Tyler Sykes had 9 catches that afternoon for 103. For the Trine Thunder in that ball game, Evan Wise actually played a little bit of quarterback, but he was actually a running back as well last year. He was 5 for 9 for 53 yards and a touchdown against us when he was playing quarterback. He ran also for a touchdown, and total he ran for 122 yards that afternoon. Lamar Carswell ran 26 times last year against us for 109 yards. Didn't have a touchdown. Also had a couple of receptions for 4 yards in that ball game. So interesting ball game last year over at Trine. Today, an entirely different feel, an entirely different afternoon. A whole bunch of new faces on the Trine sideline along with the Britons, although the Britons really a young team last year, so we're starting to grow up and get our feel and make things happen. Last week against Adrian for the Britons, in that 34-32 loss, 35 first downs for the Britons, 281 total yards of offense, 208 on in the air, and 73 in the run. And I think, again, Coach talked about this a while ago, Jim. The one thing he's been disappointed in, I think, this year has been able to find that guy to be able to run that football. So we'll go down to the field right now for the coin toss here real quick.
What is your choice, Trine? They want to defer? You want the ball? And where would you like to kick and defend? Back over here, please. Over here. Trine deferred. It's choice the second half. Receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
So there you have it. The Trine Thunder win the toss. They defer to the second half. They will allow the Britons to have the football here to open everything up, Jim. And why don't you let everybody know that's watching here today how they can contact us.
Yeah, give us a shout during the game. We'll say hi to you. And I know a lot of families watching from all around the country, and we appreciate you checking in. Webcast at albion.edu. That'll shoot an email to us, and we'll be able to read your name and who you're rooting for and where you're from. Definitely let us know where you're watching today. Appreciate you watching us on the Britons Football Network.
Well, the Trine Thunder this afternoon, their defense will look like this. On the defensive front, they will have Ryan Potts at one end, Keaton Osborne at the other end. Their defensive tackle is Mason McFarland, as they'll go with 3 down linemen. Their safeties this afternoon, Jonathan Fierro and Robert Riley. Their cornerbacks are Khalil Hill and Marcus Winter. Their linebackers, Simeon Wilson and Zachary Demeester, and the one gentleman that I really forgot was another one of the defensive tackles who they will play as a defensive tackle, Malik Miles, and that will be the defensive front for the Thunder here this afternoon. For the Britons, most definitely everything goes around the freshman quarterback, Kyle Thomas, 5'11", 180 pounds. He is the number 2 passer in the conference as we speak at 220 yards per game. And he has a 144 rating as a passer this year. He is also in a situation where he is number 10 in the conference in rushing so far. So, you know, he's a young fellow that can hurt you with your legs, and he can also hurt you with his arm.
Yeah, if I looked at the statistics right, Jim, net yards, 311 compared to the leading rusher, 318. So you're talking about, you know, a very negligible difference of a couple yards a game. That's the only thing that separates. So, you know, both teams now going to have a quarterback that can extend the play, frustrate the defense. So we'll see who imposes their will first, as we're going to get an interesting kickoff given the wind.
No doubt about that. Back deep for the Britons right now. Marlon Martin, number 4, and Pat Zarnecki. Martin's here on the home side. Zarnecki on the top of your screen as you're watching in right now on a windy afternoon at Albion. This kick will go towards Martin. He'll take a step back and field it at his 2. Bring it straight up the middle of the football field looking for a block. Got through the first wave, but the second wave kind of washed him out at the 22-yard line. And the Brits will start right there, 1st and 10.
So good return out to the 22. Set up the Britons offense. Jimbo, I think we're going to see a lot of running early, but I think you're going to have to test it through the air to see, you know, what you're getting as far as wind drag against your pass.
So the Brits will start with triples on the top. They have a single running back, and that is Freeman in the backfield to the right of Thomas. And let's see if they'll open this football game up with a pass or a run. Thomas turns, hands to Freeman, and Freeman barrels his way right up the middle of the football field to the 25-yard line, give him 3 on 1st down. Sean Koski at the single receiver spot over here on this side, and he is now joined with Brian Blanzy on the home side, on the short side. They go doubles on top. That's Colin Poores, 21, and Martin, the top guy. And they stay with Freeman in the backfield. Pickup of 3 on 1st down. They will go back to the running game again. And Freeman this time will be tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. Might lean forward for a yard, possibly a half a yard. Ryan Potts, 97, right there to make the tackle for Trine. Give him a yard, set up a 3rd down and 6, let's say. And the Brits basically going to probably have to put this one in the air, Jim.
Trine showing 3 down linemen. That nickel package, or dime package actually.
Single running back in the backfield. Thomas counts out the snap count. Drops, looks to throw, loses the football, and it's on the ground, and I think the Trine Thunder are on it.
I believe you are correct. Yes, sir.
Trine, with some good pressure from the backside, stripped the ball away from Thomas, and as we look at the replay, we'll probably get a feel for who that was that was able to get in and knock it loose, Jim. There you go. He's up here on the top.
Good blitz off the corner, held onto the ball too long. I believe that looked like a number 11, and if that's the case, that's Malik Miles. The tackle out of Indianapolis.
Miles
speed rush from the left.
Is the young fellow that we left off and added at the very end. He has 3 sacks on the season right now, and is basically leading the conference in sacks. And just like that, he causes the first turnover of the afternoon. The ball goes to the Thunder. Wise turns, fakes the handoff. He'll call his own number, looking for a place to run. He's going to get around the right side and around the corner. Still on his feet at the 10, at the 5, and he's going to go in. So Wise basically looked almost like a broken play, but you saw the danger in Evan Wise, because Evan Wise does not panic in that pocket. He just took a big deep breath and said, okay, let's allow everything to work itself out here. And he just followed the blocking that he had and scampered his way into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yep. Got to respect the determination by Wise right there, Jim. Definitely a busted play, like you said. Looked a little discombobulated, but kept it alive, kept his feet moving, and kept that offensive lineman in front of him, so he had that shield and could find that gap back on the right-hand side. Wise
at 6 foot, 210 pounds, and just like that, one play, one score, the extra point is good, and just like that, the Brits find themselves down 7-0. We'll head down to the field for John Bolello. John, I'll tell you what, I got to believe everybody wearing a purple jersey right now is just absolutely beside themselves.
Yeah, jaw dropped a little bit there. Not great awareness in the pocket. You know, defense, great pass rush, and then that little scamper that looked broken, but he ended up breaking it himself for a touchdown. That was not a good start, a little surprising start. They're looking to bounce back though.
So the Brits, just like that, find themselves down 7 after the turnover, and then a one-play drive for the Thunder, and the extra point makes it 7-0. And the Brits now hopefully it's time to wake this up just a little bit and get this thing back under control as they drop Zarnecki again back deep, along with Marlon Martin. So Martin on this side, Zarnecki on the visitor's side. He's at about the 5-yard line. Both these guys towards the top of the conference in returns. Martin number 3 in the conference, Zarnecki number 2. And they will kick it to Martin again, and he will grab it at the 4. Straight up the field and looking for some blocks. He's got room. He's at the 35. He's at the 40. He's at midfield. He's on his way, but there's a flag back here, I think, that's opened it up. Martin's going to go to the house, but I'm afraid that this one's coming back. You saw the official come up and watch the point of attack around the 40-yard line, and he reached for that flag and threw it. You can't see it for the leaves out there, I believe, right now.
The flag's at about the 21, Jimbo.
Yep. There's a piece of laundry on the football field right now, and unfortunately for the Britons, that 95-yard kick return is going to come back, and they're going to have to
81.
There you go.
Of the receiving team, 10-yard penalty.
Colby Canfield right there got his hand in the cookie jar on that return, and that's too bad, Jim, because he had a serious crease and took it to the house.
Man, you watch that replay on that thing. Marlon Martin, once he gets in the open field, I don't think there's anybody in this conference that's going to run him down. He has elite speed. But unfortunately for the Britons, instead of this being a 7-7 football game, they have the football now back on their 12-yard line. First down and 10.
If Kyle Thomas gets himself on the 3rd and long again, he's going to have that clock go off in his head, Jim. 3.5 seconds tops, have to get that ball out.
Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom for Thomas as he calls for the football. Freshman had a big eye-opener in that first series. He'll give the ball to Freeman off left guard for a couple. And the running game for the Britons, again, just going to have to start to pick up the pace a little bit. Coach was talking about that after week number 1. He's looking for a running back to step up and make some things happen. Right at this point in time, Doug Freeman's getting his opportunity, the 5'11 senior. He's in the top 20 in the MIAA for rushing this year. Thomas drops and throws, and this one off the fingertips and out of bounds out here at Colin Poore at the 33-yard line.
See the effect that wind had right there, Jim. He's probably throwing that closer to the numbers on that side. And that ball trailed all the way out of bounds. Barely got a fingertip on it.
So that's 3rd down now and 8 for the Brits. And I'll tell you what, I don't think you want to give this ball right back to Trine at this early junction. And you're going to have to kick from here, too, which is going to set them up with nice field position. So Thomas looking to convert as they stack receivers on both sides.
Ball start.
And that doesn't help your cause at all.
That's going to be number 71, Legion McKinney, the sophomore on the right side there, Jim.
Well, again, on this offensive line, some young bucks out there learning their ropes this year. And it's just exactly the things that you have to deal with a younger football team. It sure doesn't make a coaching staff real happy, but they've been down the road a couple of times. They understand the process as well. Freeman again to the right of the quarterback, Thomas in the backfield, double top and bottom.
4 down lineman for the Thunder.
They'll turn and hand the ball to Freeman. Freeman has some room. He's still on his feet at the 15, and he's tumbled down at about the 17-yard line, well short of the first down. And with that, the Britons are going to have to kick the ball back to Trine.
At least they won't have to kick out of their end zone here. But again, Trine should have excellent starting field position, although the wind has subsided a little bit.
Marcus Winters, the young man that waits back on his 42-yard line.
I think I'd cheat up to about midfield, Jim. Although you want to come up on the ball, not have to retreat for it.
Blanzy at the 2.
Looks like they're selling out for the block.
Good snap. Here they come. Blanzy with a nice kick. Catch at the 45. First guy misses. Second guy misses. One on the ground, but the Brits, I don't think, came up with it. I think the Trine Thunder were able to follow on that ball. But a nice job by the Brits to reach in and try to strip that ball away. On the bottom of that pile, 21.
Ryan Morrow.
There you go.
Cornerback. Johnny on the spot right there because he was actually knocked down and he just kind of fell on that football.
Ball just didn't bounce the way that we needed to that time. That would have been a big game changer right there, but instead, Trine brings their offense back onto the field again. They go empty backfield. Evan Wise, the senior quarterback out of Archbold, Ohio. We watched Evan Wise play high school football. How's that? Triples to the top, doubles to the bottom. Wise looks to throw. Now he's going to run. Comes around that left corner, and he's on his feet at the 40 and inside at the 39-yard line. Nice bit of faking by Wise as he looks up to that bunch at the top, but that was a run all the way, Jim. You can see that on the replay.
Yep, gave the pump fake right there, and the defense bid on it. And I think after he burned him for the 20-yard touchdown in the first possession, man, I'd be thinking run first for most of this game.
Carswell now the running back in the backfield, and they'll pitch, and they're going to sweep top side of the football field. Carswell jumps one, gets across the 35 to about the 33-yard line before the Brits knock him down. Give him about 6, maybe 7 on that carry.
And John brought up a really good point in the pregame with the win, Jim. 3rd and short, 4th and short. Don't be surprised if you see both teams going for it instead of trying a field goal.
Carswell, the only running back again in that backfield. Brits looked like they were about to jump off sides, but they got back.
Good hard count by Wise right there, Jim.
Jeffrey Barnett is the top receiver for this football team. They're right in front of us here on the home side. He's number 18.
Play clock going down.
Down to 6 right now. 4. Wise goes under center. Hands the ball to Carswell. Carswell cuts back across the middle of the football field, and he's on his way to the end zone. Goodness gracious.
Making it look way too easy.
That looked extremely easy right there. Britt's going to have to make some tackles, or this is going to be a long afternoon.
Watch this cut back here. Again, the offensive line getting that push to the right. I think that might have been a tray play right there, Jim, because the counter tray play, because you saw everybody push to the right. You think you're going to run that power direction, but everybody's committed to their left-hand side on the defense, and it opens it wide open to the left.
Well, just like that, we asked, is this Trine team up for the competition this afternoon? Well, with the extra point coming, it's now 14-0 Thunder, and the Albion Britons are going to have to shake some of the cobwebs loose here this afternoon. But more importantly, Jim, I think they're going to have to start making some tackles.
That's
oh,
exactly
my goodness.
right. Yeah, both of those touchdown runs. In Wise's case, nobody touched him until he'd already crossed the goal line. So you are going to have to get a hat on that runner near the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, this is going to be a long afternoon, like you said.
Britt's going to have to find a way to score some points here. No doubt about that. As we have a couple folks out there watching in Streamland here this afternoon, Jimmy.
Got Nathaniel watching from Sandusky, Ohio. Said Thunder looking good so far. Also Mike Dimitru from Louisville, Kentucky. His grandson Trevor Clark, number 19 for Trine. We'll get one more shout out here after the kick. Actually, I'll go ahead and give it now. Watching Jared Collins from Ludington. It's on the sidelines in a cast. Ty and Jennifer watching. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Britons Football Network. Remember, webcast at albion.edu.
Drop us a note. Let us know what you're thinking. Martin, you're going to field this one again. No, he's going to let this one bounce out of bounds. So this one goes out of bounds at about the 4-yard line.
They've been kicking to that left side. And with the wind doing what it does, I think you want to kick that one a little bit more towards the middle, inside the numbers, and let it push towards there to try to pin the returner.
So the Britons will have the football with the best field position they've had all day long. But the offense has already had the ball twice, and it's been 3 and out both times. So this Trine defense that they are so proud of, and they rightfully so, obviously you can see why when they won the toss, they wanted to put the defense out here.
And why they chose the wind direction.
Brits have the ball, triples go to the top.
It's like an extra defender out there, Jim, that wind.
Koski's the only receiver right in front of us right now, and we now have Zarnecki in that backfield, and they will fake the ball to Patrick. Thomas keeps it, and he went down as he tried to make a cut for a loss of about 2. Thomas thought he had room to run, but when he made the cut, he kind of lost his footing, dragged his knee, and they gave him a 1-yard loss on that play, so it'll be 2nd down and 11.
Matthew Litchfield, number 84, on the stop right there, but 2 Thunder players in the offensive backfield.
Thomas drops, looks to throw. Here comes the heat. He's got his guy, completed the 40-yard line. Hooks up with Brian Blanzy, and Blanzy will step out of bounds just about a yard short of that 1st down. So
about a gain of 10 right there on the 2nd and 11.
3rd down and short for the Britons here, who need that 1st down. In fact, they're going to mark him all the way back about 2 yards short back at the 43-yard line, so he needs to get to the 45.
This is a must first down, and we're 10 minutes to play in the first quarter, Jim.
Thomas in the pistol, Zarnecki to his right. They fake the ball to Pat. Thomas runs it. He'll have the first down. Wise decision on that read option that time by the quarterback for the first. Didn't get much, but he got enough.
Got enough. Both quarterbacks, again, as we said, able to extend the plays with their legs. But, man, being down 14, you're going to have to, I mean, the Britons run a high-octane offense, so it's not like they're not going to get the ball and move it.
Blanzy down here along with Koski right in front of us. Doubles on the top. They'll fake again to Zarnecki, and Thomas again bounces around the corner for about 3 as he slips and falls across the 50-yard line.
Makes me wonder if he might need to change shoes, Jim.
Marcus Winters there on the tackle for the Thunder. And, you know, the other thing that he's going to have to figure out, too, is the young fella wants to do everything right now by himself, to me. You know, Cullen Poor at this point and Koski right in front of us. Blanzy and Martin doubled up on the top. Looking to throw. The lefty goes right across the middle. He's got Martin with some running room. Gets a block at the 30 and inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. They're going to mark him right there at the 30, but it was a nice throw to Marlon Martin. And Martin kind of found himself that little weak spot in that zone and was able to move that football all the way down to the 30-yard line.
Washington and Demeester both with the hit after the throw right there. Must have been right after the release, though, no longer.
Thomas again in that pistol. This time he does give it to Pat. And Zarnecki gets ahead for a couple yards. He's inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. Clock rolling with 8:41 to play, and the Britons call a timeout. So whatever they saw, I think we've got maybe some shoe problems, Jim, with our quarterback. That might be part of the reason they brought him over here, is they're working on Kyle Thomas's one shoe right now. But the Britons wanted to talk some things over. Probably not a bad idea to call that timeout and get everything reorganized right now, because this is a big drive for the Britons.
Down 2 scores already. And again, I think, you know, the wind being that 12th man out there, I think, you know, once Trine has to drive that way, as long as the Brits can start tackling in the running game and make them start to put the ball in the air, they're not as much of a passing team, and the wind is going to wreak havoc on that. But again, you have to stop them on the run, Jim. And the Thunder have done an excellent job of just finding the holes and taking it to the house so far.
John Malello down on the sideline. Johnny, is it as windy down there as it is up here, buddy?
It's not quite as bad, but it is still making a considerable difference with the players, for sure.
No doubt about that. Blanzy and Martin will go wide up to the top side, and they'll stack. They'll stack down here on the bottom side with Koski and Cullen Poor. Thomas Cullen for the football. Hands it, nope, fakes it to Zarnecki, and he'll keep it himself. Again, he just seems like there's something not quite right with those shoes, as he's taking up turf and not really getting a good footing when he plants that one back foot.
It's the right foot, yeah. His right foot, he's always going towards his right side. And that cut foot, the right foot, has been slipping regularly so far. 3rd
down and 2 for the Brits. Obviously 2 down territory down here. Zarnecki with the football. He's got some room, and he'll have the first down as he's inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line.
This is the kind of game I think it's going to be, though, Jim. I think both teams are going to strike quick. Defenses are going to have to make stops. Trine so far has done its job, forcing a turnover and giving them tremendous starting field position.
Koski and Blanzy here right in front of us. Poor and Martin to the top. Zarnecki again, the running back. Thomas looks to throw. Across the middle. Oh, ball on the money, but a good job by that defensive back, 38, Jonathan Fierro, to get his hand in there and knock that away at the end.
Well, had him beat by a step to the inside, but good long arms by Fierro right there to reach in at the last second, right as that ball's starting to hit the hands. You want to time that just right so that he doesn't have a chance to kind of put it towards his stomach. Just as it's hitting his hands, that's where you want to hit the ball and hit the wrist. Good job, incomplete.
2nd down and 10 now for the Britons. Thomas fakes the handoff to Zarnecki, going to throw it across the middle. He's got Koski at the goal line, and he's in.
Good concentration. Again, good coverage that time by number 5, Kyle Wiswell, the safety senior. Laid the hit on, but not before. He was able to reel this one in. Watch again. Beat him by a step to the inside. Good closing speed, good hit, but he was just a second too late. Actually looks like also number 7, Marcus Winters, on coverage there, Jim. the Britons strike back, now I think we're going to start seeing that kind of up and down game.
14-6 with the extra point on its way. Good snap, good hold, and this one's up and through. Make it 14-7 now as the Britons have the opportunity to get back in this football game after being down early, 14-0. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a fun one this afternoon. You know, the one thing that you hear an awful lot about from the Trine sideline are their defensive backs. They brag very much about Marcus Winters and Khalil Hill. Also their safety, Robert Riley and Jonathan Fierro. They feel that their secondary is as good as anybody in this conference. So far, you know, they've gotten in, knocked a couple away, but we've also made them pay a couple times as well. So
I think it's something we didn't necessarily expect. But again, you have to put the ball up to keep the defense honest. I want to say hi to Chris Boney from St. Clair, Michigan. Said, loving the band. Working hard, looking great. And also Carl Collins, watching from Richmond, Indiana. Says, awesome job with the coverage. Thank you so much, Carl, and thank you for tuning in.
Seth Boggs will be the deep man on the visitors' sideline at the 10. And it's Barnett here on the home side, and he will make the catch at the 9. Right back towards the hash mark, and he gets tackled by some Brits right at the 22-yard line.
Donovan Slayton's number 30. Freshman playing special teams. Had him by the foot that time, Jim, and wasn't going to let him go.
That's how you get to play in the big boys side of the football game. You earn your keep on the special team side. And then once you do that consistently, the next thing you know, your number starts popping up in the secondary or the linebacker spot that he's accustomed to. So
freshman linebacker there. And again, you know, we've seen it all the way up to the pros, Jim. You get those core special teamers. If they're in making the stops regularly, you could see him maybe carve out a nice role just on special teams.
Wise again goes with that empty look as he puts 3 to the top and 2 to the bottom. He's going to throw this one
wide open.
Bonfiglio has the football and steps out of bounds, and that's the only reason he didn't take that one to the house.
And Jim, that's the effect right there of the run. Everybody sells out for the short pass and the run, thinking, oh, they're not going to put it up that deep with the wind, right?
And Wise put it right on the money, and again, a little too close to the sideline, or Bonfiglio was on his way with the 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. Carswell goes in motion towards the visitor sideline.
5 wide, 4 to the top. An obvious run.
Wise comes straight up the middle, and he paid for that one as he got a couple, but a good job. And again, who's on the bottom? Jose Rodriguez, 35. First guy up there to grab a hold of him, make sure he wasn't going anywhere.
You're going to need to hear his name called a lot, Jim, because if the secondary is making the tackles on the run, then they're picking up 10, 15 yards at a chunk. So hopefully he's hitting them up by the line of scrimmage as we have an official's confab. We'll get an explanation.
Helmet came off.
And that's the quarterback, Jim. Evan Wise's helmet came off during that run, so he has to set out a play.
So they'll bring a backup in.
Andrew Duckett, number 15, the junior. Usually you don't like to rotate quarterbacks in the middle of a drive, but you have to be ready. You never know what's going to happen any play.
Carswell behind him, and the safe play is to give it to Carswell. He'll kick it outside, and he'll get the corner and step out of bounds after a nice pickup of about 5 yards.
Rodriguez again chasing him to the sideline before he could get that first down. They'll mark him at midfield. They'll bring up a third and 4, sorry.
Carswell again has an awful lot of that same Emmanuel Stewart look to him, doesn't he, that we saw last week with the Adrian team. Not a big guy, but man, is he quick, and can he make you miss in open space.
Watch for another quarterback draw here, Jim.
Wise again, that open look. He'll come right up the middle of the football field. Can the Brits get him? Yes, they can. Hunter Shaw, 44, gets him right at the line of scrimmage and knocks him down.
Amazing what happens with those downfield routes when the corners are on the hips of the receivers. It's not quite as easy to get one down the field.
So the Britons defense for the first time this afternoon stalls out the Thunder offense. And the Britons offense with an opportunity now to come back out here and tie this thing up.
Robert Riley, number 2, back on the punt. And I'm always curious to see who they throw back there to see if there might be a gadget play coming, but this one looks like it might be a legit punt.
Jordan Carter waiting back at the 10-yard line.
Bad snap.
Bad snap. Riley gets it away.
How on
And a
earth did he
good
catch
kick.
that ball?
I'll tell you what, that hit off of his protector's hands, actually, and floated up into the air as you get maybe a chance to watch this again.
This was a lazy pop fly, and it seemed like it took forever to get there. He had to actually come up on this ball to catch it.
Yeah.
And tremendous concentration by Robert Riley to get that punt off in the face of 2 rushing Brits.
Actually was able to knock that out of bounds at about the 16-yard line, so no return on the kick.
And he did his job.
He sure did, a 34-yard net kick.
Stood calm in the face of pressure and was able to pin him inside the 20. Still 5:22 to play in quarter number 1. Britons now only trail 14-7.
Thomas will send 3 wide receivers to the top. Zarnecki, the only running back in the backfield. He will hand the ball to Patrick. No, he didn't. He faked it. Nice job by Thomas. He'll keep it, and he'll get a couple yards. One to throw that football up to the top to number 4, Marlon Martin, but Martin was pretty well covered up on the top.
It's Trine defenses. I mean, they're legit.
Marcus Winter had the one-on-one coverage with Martin that time. Thomas had nowhere to go, so he picked up what he could. Looks the other direction. Now he rolls, and he'll throw this one deep. He's got his guy. That's Poor. 40-yard line, 42-yard line. Nice job by Poor to be able to see where that ball was, rearrange where he was, come back and get it. As you saw this thing, this is what you can see all day long, Jimmy, I think.
Remember what we talked about, Jim, throwing those downfield passes. The receiver's going to have to come back for the ball.
Yep.
In that case, number 31, James Starks, fell down in coverage.
So the Brits have a first down across the 40-yard line. Fake to Zarnecki. Thomas now will keep it, head right up the middle of the field, and boy, did he pay for that one. Welcome to the afternoon is what the conversation was there. Simeon Washington,
Yes,
number 8, the
One
junior.
of a number of players from Toledo, Ohio, Jim.
Yep,
A lot
Toledo
of good
Central
schools there.
Catholic.
Yep.
Very good high school program over in Toledo. So the pickup was 1. Simeon at 6 foot, 200 pounds, and Thomas ran in at about $180. Thomas throws this one to the flat. He's got Martin for a short gain across the 45 to about the 47. That'll set up a third down now in about 5.
See Thomas again holding on to that ball. Probably about a second too long. I mean, he got the completion there, so you like moving it forward, but that's 2 straight hits where he's taking a little bit of a pounding.
Well, again, the freshman comes in here after transferring over from Findlay. It basically third down at about 6 right now, and that wind is really ripping out here today.
Yes, sir.
He'll drop, has some time, steps in the pocket, throws over across the middle, and this one will be incomplete as he tried to hit Blanzy on the crossing pattern in Trine territory. So they're going to have to kick this one away.
A little too tall, Jonathan Fierro, 38 in the coverage right there. And again, we've seen it on a lot of those downfield passes. The Trine Thunder defender is right on the hip of the receiver.
Marcus Winter will drop back deep. He'll be at his 17-yard line. Sam Blanzy, the brother of Brian Blanzy, who that pass was intended for, steps back and waits for it at the 32. Trine with just a small pressure up the middle. Kick is fielded at the 15-yard line. Brits down there pretty well. There's a block in the back, and I think we're going to, nope, that was a leaf that fell. Rodriguez got hit square in the back of the numbers. No call on that one. Didn't really matter, though. Brits all over the place. So the turn stalls out at the 19-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 now for the Thunder. I'm wondering if John's got a score for us. We got one more game going right now. John, have you got a score for us in the MIAA?
Yeah, that's right, I do. Right now, Olivet is at Kalamazoo, and Kalamazoo is up 3-0 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
There you go. John Bigelow down on the sideline with us this afternoon, and doing a great job as he always does. He'll keep us on top of what's going on around the afternoon. Football's schedule here at 1 o'clock. Wise
Jet sweep.
hands that ball to Carswell, and he's moving. He's around the corner.
See
Look out. 50, 40. Harvey's got the angle on him. Britt's able to knock him down at
Rodriguez.
the 18.
Holy moly.
I'm telling you what.
That's some breakaway speed right there, my friend.
As you watch Carswell on this jet sweep,
Nobody touched him. The only thing that saved the touchdown right there, Jim, was, I believe, Anarat.
Harvey, 7.
Harvey,
It was Michael
7.
Harvey, actually, that was able to keep him on the field of play.
Had to force him to cut it back, and Rodriguez with the tackle all the way down the field.
They'll hand the ball, and they've got a fresh running back in there. That's 25, Mark Wilson. So they'll go to a little bit bigger fellow on that side, 5'8", $185 out of Indianapolis. When you say a $185, he looks like a lot bigger running back than Lamar Coswell,
Strong
who's
lower
listed
body
at
again.
180. They'll give it to him again, and this time the Brits are all over him, having a hard time bringing him down, but he'll go down at about the 12-yard line.
I want to say hi to the Hyatt family watching from Elwood, Indiana. Go Trine, number 38. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not going to say go Trine very often, though, so don't take offense.
Jacob Wilkins and Jordan
This is the Britain's Football Network, after all.
Wilson
so
with
we'll say hi to you.
with a couple of totes there while Carswell was catching his breath. Now Carswell back on the football field. He'll line up as a wide receiver this time.
Just over 2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Carswell in the slot over here right in front of us. Wise in the backfield. Carswell goes in motion. They'll fake the ball to him. This time Wise comes right up the middle. He'll have the first down, and he'll work his way to the 6-yard line. First down and 10.
Ran the same jet sweep play right there, but this time Wise called his own number and kept that one in his belly. Only needed to move forward a little bit, and he definitely got enough for the first down. A lot of strong runners on that Trine Thunder team, Jim, including the quarterback. He's leading by example.
He really is. He's got Carswell in his backfield right now with him in that eye look. He'll turn and hand it to Carswell. They'll try to go left side. He spins, but he's going to try to spin out of a tackle because a nice job by the Britons to get down on the feet. And I believe that was number 5, Jordan Carter, that came in, wrapped him up as Carswell was trying to make that little spin move on him right there, as you see. Carter not going to let him go.
Frustrating part of that, though, for the Brits is you had 5 guys, Jim, and a player holding on to his feet, and they still couldn't knock him down. He was still trying to wriggle free.
He'll lose a couple on that one. It's now second down and goal from the 9.
Certainly in field goal range.
Fake the football. Screen pass coming over to this side. It's Barnett, and Barnett gets out of the tackle, and he's into the end zone. Oh, I'll tell you what, right down here, number 20, Elijah Klepper. Yeah, you give him a good effort for the block, but not sure that block wasn't on the wrong side of the numbers, and
Had his hand on his back.
that kind of broke that
Usually,
loose.
If you're blocking and you block in the back, it's usually called a block in the back.
And that's exactly what sprung the receiver Barnett, because he was pretty much wrapped up there at about the 7-yard line.
But again, they're getting contact in the defense, but they're not stopping them
And
when they get that first hit.
extra point will make it 21-7 Trine as we're just about through this opening quarter. So the Britons just going to have to find a way to wrap up and hang on a little bit better, because this Trine Thunder looks like it's really for real this afternoon here in Albion.
Yep. And with a 2-touchdown lead, they're going to be switching sides here in just under a minute. And Trine Thunder's going to be going into the wind at that point. It's going to change a little bit, but I mean, they've been a run-first offense,
Yeah,
so the wind doesn't affect you at all, other than maybe a leaf getting in your eye or something like that.
Wind kind of deceptive. Sometimes it blows just straight across this field right into our face, and at other times it does change just a little bit and head towards right now the Trine end zone, the end zone they just scored into, where the Britons will take this kick. 52 seconds left to go in the quarter. Martin and Zarnecki again standing back on their 5-yard line. And this kick will head towards Martin, who will field it at his 5. Heads back to some friendlier territory in the middle of that football field, but there's just nothing but white shirts around him at the 20-yard line. And the Britons will put the football in play at the 20, first down and 10, with 45 seconds left to go in the opening quarter.
For the 3rd straight year, Albion will probably host a Big Read in October. The Big Read's a project that aims to bring communities together through a shared reading experience. This year, Albion will be reading Charles Portis's novel True Grit. See albionbigread.org for more information.
So it'll be first down and 10 now, and the Albion offense going to have to find a way to fight their way back into this football game. Thomas going to throw that screen to Zarnecki at the top of the football field, and Zarnecki just gets caught in the wash. He'll get about a yard maybe on that first down carry.
Lanzi are trying to block downfield right there, and really all he did was stand up his defender, and he ran right into Blanzy's back. Wasn't able to advance it any farther than that.
Poor and Koski on our side right now. Up on the top side is Blanzy and Sykes. Zarnecki in the backfield, and they'll fake it to Zarnecki and throw this football complete up the football field. That's Sykes, 40. He breaks a tackle, cuts it to the middle of the football field. He's into Trine territory at the 45-yard line. First down and 10, Britons.
Lost a helmet right there, so he'll have to sit out of play as well. But I think you'll give that up for a first down going into quarter number 2.
Tyler Sykes last year had 9 catches against this Thunder team for 103 yards. And he's happy to have that football back in his hands.
Came off number 83.
So Sykes has to come to the sideline, and let's see, with 6 seconds left, will we allow this clock to run out? Yes, we will. So that's going to do it for quarter number 1 here in Albion, as the Britons trail the Thunder 21-7. And I'll tell you what, it is an interesting afternoon of football. If you'd have told me Trine would have had 21 on the scoreboard already in the first quarter, I probably would have chuckled a little bit, Jimmy, coming over here today, but that is exactly what they've done.
Well, look at the circumstances surrounding the 21, though, too.
Yep.
First, you have a strip sack inside the red zone, which sets you up nice for, a nice 20-yard run. That's kind of the shock and awe of that first turnover deep in your own territory.
Yep.
The second one, again, the wind played havoc on special teams and gave them great starting field position. And so that's 14 right there, and that's your deficit.
Yeah.
So this is a rare case where you look at 21-7, and you're not as scared, I guess is the right way to put it. You're not as concerned about a 2-touchdown deficit because they are able to move the ball. And again, make the necessary adjustments on defense. You got to wrap up on tackles because the running game is extremely strong for the Thunder, and they're just going to keep running it until the Brits stop them. So if you can't wrap up and you can't put a hat on a guy, you can't get that push at the D-line, it is going to continue to be a long afternoon.
23 total plays already for Trine compared to 14 for the Britons early on, and they toss this through the hands of Colin Poore. Poore, I think, saw that big safety coming his way and took his eye off the ball just a little bit. That was one that could have been caught, I think.
Yep, Jonathan Fierro again, 38. Fortunate that he let up just a little bit at the end of that, because once that ball sails, if he actually does get a good hit, you could have a defenseless receiver penalty right there.
So the Brits will face a second down and 10 now from the Trine 45-yard line as we open up play here in quarter number 2. Fake the handoff, throw to the flat, and again, this one a little bit too high and over the head of Blanzy, the intended receiver.
Third down, 10.
It's a big third down right here with 14:54 to play in the first half, Jim. And other than the field position, this first drive here reminiscent of the first drive the Brits had on offense, where only a few seconds tick by and next thing you know, you're in third down territory.
Here at Sprankle-Sprandel Stadium on a Saturday afternoon, Thomas, the lefty, drops and throws. He's got his guy, but the ball sails on him just a little bit, hangs up, and it gets tipped away by Robert Riley. He was heading that one out towards Kyle Winchell, but it was underthrown just a little bit, and Riley able to get a mid on that one and knock that one down. And I'll tell you what, Jimmy, you don't want to give this football back to the Trine Thunder right now. Not been a good recipe for success here this afternoon, has it, huh?
Nope. And again, you look at the time of possession right there. I saw an 8 and change to a 6 and change, so you think, wow, it's pretty even. But what is Trine done with the limited time they've had the ball?
This ball hits just on the backside of the pylon, and it is going to have Trine deep in their territory, I believe, or did they say it went in the end zone? Touchback. Yep, there we go. Boy, that was
just gone over the corner right there, because that was about as close gets. And cheer for the Albion College women's soccer team after today's game. The Britons have a 4:30 p.m. kickoff against MIAA rival Trine University at Alumni Field. This has been an Albion Trine kind of day so far, as I believe. We also had another matchup with the two teams. Was it the men's soccer game?
Yeah. 180 yards of total offense already for Trine here in this opening quarter as they bring that unit back onto the football field. Wise has Carswell right behind him. And he'll turn and he'll fake that ball. In fact, that's not Carswell this time. And Wise is in some trouble. Breaks out of a tackle and gets out of bounds. And again, just horrible tackling by the Brits up on the top of that football field.
Had him dead to rights for about a 5-yard loss right there. But again, you have to admire the quality of the athlete that Mr. Wise is, Jim. You know, the defense needs to wrap up, but he is also doing an excellent job of stepping out of those tackles.
No doubt about that, and he's a very solid young man at 6 foot, 210 pounds. But again, when you've got a quarterback like that, you've got to take him out. Your defensive end, you've got to wrap him and drop him right back there for that 5-yard loss. Instead, it's a 3-yard pickup, and they're going to throw this ball. Wow, you could see the wind dealing with that one. At this
a little
point,
different going this way.
Wise looks over to the other sideline and says, holy smokes, what happened to that? Just as soon as he let go of that ball, it was 10 yards off its mark from the very spot that he let go of that ball, and that wind is just ripping down there right now.
Dick Ritter, class of '66 from Kavanaugh Banks and Osable River, Grayling, Michigan, says go Brits. Thank you, Mr. Ritter, for checking in with us. Appreciate you watching. Also, Adrian Miles says thank you for the great coverage from Indianapolis. She's watching number 11, Malik Miles.
There you go. Malik Miles, a young fellow that forced that strip early on and then knocked that ball loose and set up the first touchdown this afternoon. Again, a throw across the middle to Barnett, and that one's on the money, and Barnett's on his way. 10-yard line, 5-yard line, that one's easy. That one goes 72 yards. And I think Evan Wise figured out this wind pattern down on that football field with just one throw, Jim.
Watch the trajectory on that one. More of a low-line drive. And two defenders bumped into each other. Good route, good strong throw. He knew to put a little more arm into that one right there, and they took it to the house.
And just like that, Trine up 27-7 here as we open up the second quarter. So the Trine Thunder, you know, they may be the guys that are the underrated favorites in this conference this year, as they are really playing some football this afternoon. The extra point is good. Make it 28-7 right now, and just like that, the Brits find themselves really in a big hole. And we go down to John on the sideline. John, I'll tell you what, the Britons at this point in time have to be questioning what's going on.
Yeah, I mean they're not tackling, and then on offense, moving a little bit, but ending up having to punt, and it's just Trine will make you pay for that too. They'll come right down the field, and they've figured out how to get those short passes. Can't go deep now with that wind, and they're having their way, running. So it's a problem for the Brits right now.
Been a tough afternoon so far. The Britons going to have to figure out a way to get something going here, Jim, because at this moment you're down 21 points and you're just barely into the second quarter.
Yeah, it becomes an identity issue at this point, Jim. What kind of team is Albion putting out there on the field? Is this a team that's going to decide on the sideline right now as a defense that they're tired of getting run on, and they're going to start making a change and doing something about it? Or is this a game where Trine has already kind of gotten in their collective head and they're going to impose their will? So it's going to be an identity situation from this point forward.
Zarnecki has to run down to the corner at the 1 to pick it up. He brings it right up the middle of the sideline. And he breaks a tackle and heads towards the middle of the football field, and he'll go down at the 32-yard line. Pat was trying to get an opportunity for a cutback there, and I think you're right, Jimmy. Unfortunately, with the laundry back there, it's coming back.
So a holding penalty against the Brits. 2 flags marked
on the
about
return.
15.
Holding. 38 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So it'll mark it back inside the 10 right there as it wipes off another good return. That's the second good return. One went to the house, as you'll recall, earlier in the first quarter. This one obviously did not go as far, but still would have presented decent starting field position for the Brits. As it stands right now, they're backed up inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. See where they eventually stop. They're marking it at the 8.
260 total yards of offense already for Trine, 132 for the Britons. And that last pass put the Trine Thunder just a yard behind the Britons for total passing yards, as they now have 108 to 109 for the Britons. And the Britons right now just really, it would be nice to have one of those long 4 or 5 minute drives with a score to maybe slow things down on the offensive side of the Trine Thunder. Thomas hands the ball to Freeman. Freeman has a little room as he lowers that shoulder and head and drives his way out to about the 14, almost the 15-yard line. Give him 6 on the first down carry, and about 6 at a pop all the way down the football field. For my money, Jim, would be the thing that the doctor ordered here at this moment.
Yep, and again, down 21, but there's an eternity left to play, so you can run any play you want right here.
Freeman again, the only running back in the backfield with Thomas. He'll fake it to Freeman. He'll throw it up the sideline. Just a little too far for Martin. As all day long I'm seeing things flash, but they are leaves nowadays. They look like flags moving here or there out of the corner of your eye, and then you turn around and it's one of those great big old maple leaves.
Marlon Martin coming off the field gingerly. Had to check that caught a lower leg situation.
Yeah, not a good situation there if Martin's going to be down for the afternoon, because we saw what he could do earlier in this football game. Third down now and a long 3 here for the Britons. 13-18 to play, second quarter. The Britons down by 21. As Thomas drops, here comes the blitz. He gets rid of it early, and that was almost picked off. Threw the ball to Robert Riley, who stepped in front of the intended receiver, Koski. And boy, I'll tell you what, a big hit again by Thomas as the delayed blitz by Simeon Washington got there just as he let loose of the football.
Koski also had to play defense right there, Jim, because the corner ran that route a little better than the receiver
did. Yeah, Koski, no doubt about that. All right, Marcus Winter will step back at his 45. Blanzy to kick this away. Good, solid kick. Winter has to go back to the 35 to field this one. Then he comes right back up the middle of the football field, and the Brits right there to tackle him at the 42. Nice job by the Britons on that play to be able to Joe Schwartz, number 12, the Briton who made that tackle.
Also Matthew Litchfield, 84. We've called his name a few times.
Again, this Britons team, a young team, starting to find their way, trying to make some things happen. A freshman quarterback, some younger running backs and wide receivers. This is the football team that's building here for the future. But that doesn't mean that the coach doesn't want to win a football game every Saturday afternoon. The entire coaching staff probably just not real happy on that sideline right at this point in time. Empty backfield for Evan Wise, who showed the last time he has figured out how to throw that ball in this wind, as he connected for a 72-yard catch and touchdown to his favorite receiver, Jeff Bennett, on that last series. Carswell comes in motion. They'll hand him the football. Jet sweep around the home sideline. Cuts back inside, takes a lick at the 40, but goes down at the 38. And a good job by Donovan Slates. As we said, that young fellow plays some special teams and also gets some time on a Saturday afternoon playing linebacker. But you really would hope that you'd get to Carswell a little earlier than that, because he's clear at the 39-yard line of the Britons right now, and it's first down and 10.
Britain's going to continue to evolve that defense. You're going to need to see more speed out there. You're going to have to match speed with speed.
Running back to the left now is Wilson, and they will fake the ball to Wilson. Weiss going to go deep across the middle. He's got Barnett. Barnett has the football. Knocked down by Rayshawn Robinson at the 16-yard line, but that moves the sticks one more time. It'll be first down and 10.
Another red zone opportunity for the Thunder. They've certainly cashed in so far.
Been an offensive juggernaut here early on in this football game, but again, you're looking at some wide receivers, some quarterbacks, everybody upperclassmen on this side as they go student body left to Mark Wilson. He turns the corner for a nice gain to the 11-yard line and gets knocked out of bounds right there at the 10.
Wouldn't be surprised, Jim, if you see them run that play again, except the quarterback take it, fake it, and go the opposite way. Everybody but one player sold out for that one.
They'll send doubles here to the home sideline. 12 is Kella in the slot. 22 is Bonfiglio. Klepper goes in motion, then turns and comes the other way. They'll turn and hand it back to that running back again, and he's down to the 5-yard line, Mark Wilson. Wilson last week had 49 yards and a touchdown.
Only thing that stopped him from going to the house that time was a shoe top tackle. Again, there's a clear lane. You could probably drive an 18-wheeler through the lane that the Thunder offensive line is generating so far.
First down and goal now for the Trine Thunder as they try to make this a 35-7 football game. With 11:14 to play here in quarter number 2. They'll head the other way with Carswell, and he's going to speed his way to the corner. He's got it. Boy, as soon as they handed him the football, you knew he was going to get around the corner. Everything's sealed off extremely well on the top of that football field. Nobody there to slow him down as you watch the replay of this one.
You had number 8 coverage there, Trey Edwards. Jim goes over to the official. You see him looking for a hold. but just good blocking. Until the laundry hits the floor, it's just good blocking.
34-7 now. Brits find themselves down 27 with the extra point about to happen.
But look at how much time is left.
Yeah, there's a lot of time. Snap is good, the hold is good, the kick is good. Make it 35-7 as the Britons will get the football back with 11:07 to play here in this first half. Let's head back down to the sideline with John. John, any updates on that football game that we're watching with Kalamazoo?
I do. Olivet has now taken the lead. They are up 7-3 now with 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
I'll tell you what, you've got to be down close to the coaching staff right now. There have not probably a lot of friendly words being exchanged down on that sideline right this moment.
No, they're starting to get pretty frustrated because this Trine offensive line is controlling this game right now. They're able to not only run, but they're getting the ball in the air now, and it's, they're tearing apart this defense.
Yep. Well, that's something they're going to have to work out here in the remainder of this first half. Coach Rundle and his defense just being lit up here this afternoon. In fact, the unfortunate part, Jimmy, the offense is putting up 460. The offense putting up 421 a game, and the defense is giving up 419 a game, and we're well on the way to do more than that here this afternoon with Trine's offense absolutely clicking here in the first half.
It's video game football so far. Has
been so far. Something's going to have to be adjusted, and part of it's going to be tackling, as this one will go into the end zone, bounced and then picked up by Rayshawn Robinson, and he's out to the 15, make it the 16-yard line.
I want to say hi to C.J. Stegmeyer and family of number 45, Joe Stegmeyer from the Fort Wayne area. Appreciate you watching. Also, Kerry Wagner, watching from Long Beach, California.
Oh, baby, there you go. Now that's where we ought to be right now. Weather's probably nice out in Long Beach today. How's that?
Maybe you could take a picture and email it to us here at webcast@albion.edu and just kind of show us that. It's a beautiful day here, too. Don't get me wrong.
Kick the wind down about 20 miles an hour right now, and you have a perfect fall afternoon here in Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Thomas again in the backfield with a running back to the right of him. That's Zarnecki. They'll fake it to Zarnecki, throw it up to Colin Poor in the flat. Poor looking for a lane. He'll get around the corner for a short pickup. In fact, they're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 22. I'm sorry, the 17, not the 22, the 17, so that gives him a yard.
Yeah, all that work for a 1-yard gain.
Yep.
4 defenders by Trine over there, 1 receiver downfield blocking.
Brits have it 2nd down and 9 now. Clock running with 10:34 to play in the first half. Thomas, time in the pocket. Throws it behind his receiver, Koski, and he goes back and gets it. The Trine defender saying he doesn't have it. Koski, though, and the officials agree that he made the catch out around the 37.
If you were the Trine defense, would you tell him he caught it?
Exactly.
Let's be honest here. I'd be waving incomplete, too. Good recovery on that pattern, though. Again, the wind just wreaking havoc in the passing game.
1st down and 10 as the Britons try to answer that last score by the Trine Thunder. Here comes the blitz, so it's a run blitz. Zarnecki makes him miss, and he'll spin his way across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. I'll tell you what, a well-conceived idea that time by the Trine Thunder's defense, but Zarnecki saw it coming, and when he saw number 5, Kyle Wiswell, come up in that hole, he gave him a little stutter and just spun right around him.
Something you've seen the Trine runners do an excellent job of in this first half, Jim, is you see the run blitz coming, they're able to just patiently sidestep it.
Zarnecki gets 5 on 1st down, set up a 2nd down and 5, and they go right back to Pat. Pat stays on his feet, breaks some tackles, and he fights his way for the 1st down out around the 48-yard line.
And that word, Jim, fight, that's what you're going to need to see for the rest of this game out of this young Britons team. I want to see some fight. 1 possession at a time. You can't score. They don't have a 28-point possession.
Yep.
You can only go 1 at a time, and if you can put it in the end zone, just start building something.
I think the goal right now would make this thing maybe a 2-score game at halftime as they go right back to Zarnecki, who gets into Trine Thunder territory at the 48.
And one Britain lost his helmet. That might have been
Zarnecki again. Yep. Zarnecki's going to have to come to the sideline. But yeah, I think right at this point in time, if you could
helmet
somehow
on, number 11.
take this down and score a touchdown, then hold Trine and score one more and make it 35-21 at halftime, you'd have to feel like maybe you actually stabilize things here in this first half.
And the way the Britons run their offense, they could get 2 more possessions easy in this first half.
Freeman to the backfield for Zarnecki, to the left here of Thomas, and Thomas is going to throw all the way. Throws in the flats. He's got his guy. It's complete to Winchell, and Winchell has the football up the football field for about 4. That was
Five makes it a, or second 5 makes it a third and less
and
than
1.
a yard.
Zarnecki got 5 on that first down tote, and then the pass for 4 on second down. And as you said, Jimmy, a very workable third down and short as they hand the ball to Freeman. And Doug lowers his head. He'll have the first down as he gets to the 40-yard line.
Playing a little bit after the whistle there, too.
Freeman, one of the few seniors on this football team on the offensive side that really gets any playing time. And again, a good size running back at 5'11" and 208 pounds. He's 19th right now in the MIAA. Has 16 carries on the season for 83 yards, a touchdown, and his long total of the season, 24 yards. 8:06 to play as the offense for the Britons still trying to find a way to get down and make this a little closer football game. That one's going deep, and he had Blanzy that just slipped and fell down. And boy, I'll tell you what, Blanzy, I'd like to see maybe the replay if we get that one again. Somehow he went down, and that ball was right where it needed to be. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to see what happened to Blanzy as Thomas lets go of this football. But as you get down there at that point in time, Blanzy had been tripped up somehow, whether he slipped on his own or whether he tangled his feet with a defensive back. And if he could have stayed on his feet, that ball probably right where it needed to be. Zarnecki back in. Thomas fakes it to him, and he's going to throw this one away, and he throws it to the wrong guy. Marcus Winters with the interception. Winters with the football at the 40-yard line, looking for some clear paths and doesn't find it. And at the 40, he will go down. And again, Thomas just basically threw that one out of desperation, but he's going to have to figure out a way to toss that one, really toss it away rather than put it in play where somebody can pick it off.
Did have a receiver in the area.
Helmet off, 72, Trine.
But you also had
First
3
down.
Trine defenders in that area, Jim.
Thomas, if he's had a problem this year, has been that's interception number 4 now on the season, and they have all been tough interceptions just like that one. Not one where someone outfought you for the football. It's just one where you're standing there and look what I found, and that's exactly what that one was. 35-7, and so the Brits, who looked like they had a pretty decent drive going, it stalls out on the interception. Second turnover of the day. And the Thunder have the football back. Carswell on the reverse, and this one's on the ground. Can the Brits get to it? No. Bonfiglio is able to come up with the ball.
Getting a little too cute on offense there, Jim. I get it, you're up 4 scores, but I guess if you're just checking some different things out in your playbook, but I got a little too cavalier on that one given the wind.
Carswell just a little bit loose with the handle of that football. He just kind of flipped it up in the air for Bonfiglio, and really Bonfiglio had a whale of a time just getting back to it. That would have been the break that we needed right there if we could have gotten on that ball and picked that one up at the 28-yard line. Instead, it will be second down and 22 now.
Now you just have to play disciplined defense for 2 downs.
Carswell again in the backfield. Weiss will turn and hand it to him. Coming off the tackle, and he's got all kinds of room, and here he goes. Midfield, 30, 20, 10, he's in. Jiminy Christmas, man, 72 yards on that one. And as you said, all they had to do was play just a little bit of defense, and they can't even do that in the middle of that football field. I'm not understanding what's going on today with this Britain's football team. Obviously a good job by the Thunder to open up some holes.
Some speed. I mean,
yeah,
he has such breakaway speed, Jim.
Speed kills, but that's 72 yards, and I think that's the second time they've had a 72-yard touchdown this afternoon.
Is it only the second?
41-7 now. This has been an eye-opener this afternoon. Snap is good, the kick is good, and just like that, it's 42-7 with 6:48 to play in the opening half.
I think if you're a fan of the Trine Thunder, you're sitting there kind of going, yeah, see. It was fair for us, though, at the beginning of this game to question, how good this team was. You looked at the 4 teams they played, definitely not the best 4 teams. But now you're starting to see that this team is extremely gifted on offense, has a lot of speed, tremendous offensive line, and even with this stiff wind, Wise is able to get the passes where he needs to with only a few exceptions. And the defense, like you said, has been stingy, forced a couple of turnovers now, and they've done a good job of keeping the Britons' drives relatively short. And the more you run the ball with success, the harder your offensive line is going to charge in future drives.
Carswell now has touchdown runs of 33 yards and 72 yards and also 5 yards. I forgot about the third one he's got. Barnett with a 77-yard touchdown catch and a 9-yard touchdown catch. And the Britons at this moment find themselves down by 35 points on their home field to the Trine Thunder. This gets kicked down to the 10-yard line by Rayshawn Robinson. Now brings it back out to the 25. Helmet again comes off. Man, there have been helmets off all afternoon here today, and Robinson laying on the ground right now.
Kind of makes you wonder how the helmet gets off, doesn't
it does.
Because there's a chin strap that keeps it on, and if the helmet keeps flying, it makes you wonder if there isn't a helper.
Officials timeout for injury.
Expanding Community is the title of the first show of the academic year at the Bobbitt Visual Arts Center's Monroe Gallery. The show runs through October 14th. Visit albion.edu/art for more information.
Rayshawn Robinson is up and walking to the sideline. He is a defensive back, and again, you see him. He says hand to the helmet and ripping off his head, and I believe that's happened a couple of times here this afternoon. No calls on the field, so the officials not quite agreeing with Rayshawn the way that thing came off, but that helmet has popped off quite often this afternoon. There you go.
I love it. Mr. Wagner sending us a picture from Long Beach, seeing the ocean in the background.
We're talking.
Love it.
Zarnecki with the run, and this time there's an opening. He'll be across the 32 to the 33-yard line. I love it.
Pretty good life right there.
You know what? I think we're going to come do these ball games from there. How's that? Kerry Wagner's going to have some friends with him next week. How's that?
Whether he wants them or not. We got a week to get there. Plenty of time.
We'll need 2 more of those, Kerry, when we get there. How's that? That's all we're going to say. Handoff again goes to Zarnecki, and Zarnecki tries the left side again this time for some short yardage across the 35 to about the 36.
Gotta love the interactivity, though, in all seriousness, of being able to do these webcasts. Oftentimes, you don't get a chance to connect with the families, with the fans as much as you do, perhaps in Division III and games like this. So can't thank you enough for watching the Britons Football Network.
Britain's only touchdown this afternoon, a 17-yard completion to Sean Koski. And Doug Martin will be wrapped up in the backfield, and he's going to lose yardage on this 3rd down and 2. And I think it's pretty safe to say so far, Jimmy, that the line of scrimmage has been absolutely dominated by the guys in the white jerseys with the blue numbers.
And they're only running, in most cases, Jim, a 3-man front.
Yep.
So you have 5 blockers and 3 D linemen. Now, granted, your linebackers and DBs are sometimes creeping up to play run defense because the Brits are still going run first with their offense. But that's toughness.
Marcus Winters back. Here comes the blitz. And Blanzy kicks it away and over the head of Martin, and it will skip out of bounds down around about the 17. They're going to say the 19-yard line actually is where it went out. And it'll be 1st down and 10 now for the Trine Thunder again. Let's go down to John again. John, any updates on that Olivet game right now?
No change there. Still 7-3. Olivet over Kalamazoo with under 5 minutes remaining.
We're actually heading to Olivet next week to do the ball game. Last week in all the road games we do audio only for those games, so we invite you to tune in and listen to the games.
Second week in a row we've had second of 3 weeks that we've done these shout-outs. Viewer from Phoenix, Arizona, Laura Riley, the mom of number 2, Robert Riley. Say hi to my mom if you see her. She lives in Phoenix, too.
There you go. 25 is Wilson in the backfield, and he'll go in motion up to the visitor sideline, and that means that Evan Weiss is going to run the football. He bounced off the first guy, but there were way too many Brits around him to get anywhere that time. As the Brits come up and make the tackle, and that's Drew Schaefer that makes the tackle there. Schaefer again a 6'2", 185-pounder out of Jackson, Michigan. He's a freshman.
Very interested to see, Jim, what kind of offense Trine is going to run. Are they going to run a clock-killing offense, or are they going to continue to play to win, so to speak?
Wise went under center this time. Haven't seen him do that here yet this afternoon, but he's there with a single running back, Wilson, in the backfield.
Two tight ends at the line of scrimmage.
And they'll go to Wilson straight up the middle, and he kind of slipped as he was trying to make a cut.
Same general area that, was it Blanzy that fell?
Yep.
It's about that same area. There's about a 10-yard space on the left hash, near hash to us, where you've seen Thomas, Blanzy. Now that young man kind of lose their footing.
Shaw made the tackle again, and the unfortunate thing, it was Schaefer that made the tackle. Hunter Shaw came to the sideline because he's working on a shoulder. He lost his footing too and planted that left shoulder in the ground as he was trying to assist on the tackle. 3rd down now and 7. Quarterback's going to fake it. He'll roll around the left side, and this time he's going to pay for it. 28-yard line. Evan Weiss
just short.
Takes a shot, and he'll be about a yard short. 4th down now and 1.
If you're going to have a running quarterback, that's what you need to do. Not only need to stop, but you need to send a message, Jim.
Yeah. They'll
get a good, clean stick. Make them think twice.
Send their punt team on, and the Brits had 3 or 4 guys that aided on that tackle. And with 3:17 to play in the opening half, the Brits going to get the football back again, but this time they're down 35.
The Thunder will take that 3 and out right there. Ran plenty of clock, maintain the lead. They'll flip field position, rely on the defense some more.
Good snap. Here come the Britons trying to get to that kick. Bad kick off the side of the foot and out of bounds. Still on the Thunder side of the football field, I believe.
49, I think. 47. 46. Do I hear 45?
There you go. I'll take the 45. I think that's where they ended up coming back to. In fact, they're inside the 40 at the 30, at the 45 at the 43-yard line. I'm sorry about that.
I think I saw it go out of bounds at the 10.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it was a horrible kick. Good pressure by the Britons, but that one came off the side of the foot, no doubt, of Riley.
Had an effect on that, but that one was shanked.
So the Britons have the football and an opportunity right now with 2:52 to play to maybe put a score on the board. Remember, Trine gets the ball to open up the half. Zarnecki gets the football, and again, a lot of congestion right there at the line of scrimmage as he is dropped down after a short pickup by number 11, Malik Miles. And Malik Miles really was the guy that opened everything off, Jim, because he's the guy that made the strip early that set the Thunder on their way with that first touchdown.
A lot of speed off the edge.
Thomas drops, the lefty looks, he's got plenty of time. He's going to gun this one down the field, and it's going to be scooped off again. Marcus Winter saw that one coming. He was hanging underneath on the coverage, and he's still on his feet at the midfield stripe. Thomas going to have to learn a little bit about that because fellas like that watched his eyes all the way. Ball maybe hung up just a little bit in that air, but he went up in the air. Winter went up in the air nicely with that with one hand and was able to bring that one down. That was a nice effort by that defensive back for the Trine Thunder.
Second interception, and playing it too deep at that point, Jim. Able to drop that guy into coverage because you pretty much know that in those kind of situations they're going to have to put the ball up.
Yeah, yep.
And so you can drop 6 guys back. You can double cover in certain zone areas.
1st down and 10 now. Trine with the football with 2:14 to play. They have all 3 timeouts if they would want to call them, but they'll barrel right ahead with Mark Wilson, and Wilson now the little bigger of the back, starting to heat up some yardage right up the middle of the football field. He'll get 6 on carry number 1. And with a minute and 56 to play in the first quarter, it'll be 2nd down and about 4. They'll go right back to him, and that's the 1st down as he'll cross the 40, get knocked down at the 39-yard line. And the Brits Austin Lynn on the tackle, but I'll tell you what, this defensive front of the Britons has just absolutely been gobbled up this afternoon by this offensive line from Trine.
The second half of the Adrian game having a hangover of sorts because the Adrian offensive line also dominated second half.
Wise drops, throws under pressure. This one's deep to the end zone, and I'll tell you what is it.
Oh, my goodness.
What a nice job by Jeffrey Barnett.
What a catch.
To spot the ball, and even though he was just absolutely blanketed down on the goal line, go back and get it and pull it in for the touchdown over Jordan Carter. Look at this one. Oh my gosh, look at him come down with that ball.
That's a Sports Center top 10 right there, Jim.
That was a beautiful catch by Barnett and a nice throw by Wise.
You have to think this is defensive pass interference. You had the defender face guarding. Yep, never turned around for the ball. Coach Elon Williams watching number 4, Sean Kubit-Miller.
Pass interference, defense, number 8, penalty decline, result of the play, touchdown.
Trey Edwards was the young fellow that was called for the interference. Nice job by the 18, just absolutely Jeffrey Barnett just made a wonderful play. You'll never see a guy make a better catch than that one right there. That was unbelievable. He saw that ball coming and he adjusted to the football and he brought it down. The extra point makes it 49-7.
I'm a little partial to the Edelman catch in the Super Bowl.
Well, there you go.
That was a pretty good one too. It's about time as a Patriots fan, one of those fluke catches went my team's way.
49-7, and we're not even at the half right now. And the Britons are not on the good side of that 49. So they'll have the football back with 1:26 to play. They do have 2 timeouts that they can use if they so choose. But they're going to have to go in the locker room and just absolutely look themselves in the mirror and start to realize that they're just absolutely being dominated here in this first half. We'll go down and pick up some of the British 8's performance here at the halftime. And we'll step away, grab some stats, and get you caught up with the games around the area.
Maybe we'll just pretend the first half didn't happen.
Well, and that's about all you can do right now if you're a Britons fan or if you're one of the Britons. You just got to wipe it off to a 0-0 second half, and then you got to outplay them on the second half and start taking care of business. Game's over probably. Zarnecki will field this one here on this 7-yard line. And he has some room out to about the 31, maybe the 32-yard line, and that will be first down and 10 for the Britons.
One of the encouraging things of that run, Jim, is I've now become conditioned to look to my right on those returns to see if a flag's on the field. So we get a good return and no holding or no illegal blocks in the back. So, again, you're looking for positive steps, good return, penalty-free in that case.
Marlon Martin had one that he took back to the house here earlier today that came back with a flag that would have been helpful. We tried to close the doors here and the windows in the booth as you hear the wind rumbling right now. You can tell how windy it is out here. Consistent winds of about 15 miles an hour and gusts into the 20-25 mile an hour range as they hand the ball to Zarnecki, who gets back to the line of scrimmage and no more.
Sounded like we had a dinosaur for a fourth broadcast person.
It did, didn't it, huh? Kyle Thomas, the quarterback, the freshman, getting a real eye-opener here this afternoon.
I'm not sharing my lunch with the dinosaur.
I'm not either, so that's why we closed that window up here real quick. Tyler Sykes here is the wide receiver on the home side. Blanzy in the slot. Brits have a single wide receiver to the top.
Now you can't afford to have a 2-for-1 opportunity for the Thunder as quick as they score.
Thomas now turns and fakes the handoff to Zarnecki. He'll keep it himself, and the Trine Thunder saw him coming. Now we have a flag late.
I'm having to guess that this one's going against the defense. Doubt it was a hold because there was no Britain
nobody out there blocking.
Thomas, yeah. Well, I mean around where Thomas was. They were blocking downfield for sure, but the way he got yanked backwards leads me to believe.
No flag for face mask. Made on the shoulder.
Well, that explains why he was spun back.
Okay.
Got him on the shoulder instead of the face mask, so good job of communication by the officials to avoid a bad call right there. Unfortunately for the Britons, would like to have that 15 yards.
Third down and 11 now for the Brits as the clock works its way towards 0 here in the first half. Play clock at 10, so they're going to be happy to allow this thing to run as far as they can because, as Jim said, they really don't want to give the ball back before the end of the half.
Just run it here and go into the half.
Turn handles Zarnecki, and Zarnecki gets hooked down at the 31-yard line. And that'll bring up a 4th down, but that will also end the quarter.
I think mercifully is the word.
I think you're exactly right.
The first half mercifully comes to an end.
We've got 2 quarters in the books right now as we head to the halftime break, and the Brits trail 49-7 here on the Britons Football Network. Tell you what, this has been a tough way to start this ball game this afternoon. And I don't know what else you're going to do. Let's go down to John real quick, see if we got an update on that Kalamazoo-Olivet game. John, anything new on that one here in the first half?
Nothing right now with under a minute left. Olivet does have the ball with that 7-3 lead, hoping to get another score before the end of the half.
There you go. Been a tough way to start this one for us today, John. I'll tell you what, you've been on the sideline with games like this before. Coaches at that point in time, what are they going to have to do in the locker room to turn this thing around a little bit?
I don't know. They're getting pretty frustrated. They're talking to their players like at the offense, like, hey, if we can't start scoring consistently, we're done. We have no chance here. They really got to buckle down, or else this will somehow get uglier.
I don't know that that's even possible, John, but I guess at 49-7, if you just repeat the second half and make it 98-14, that's pretty ugly.
Yeah, just I don't know what they're going to have to do, but they're going to have to look at themselves in the mirror and really do something. I don't know.
It's tough to be able to change it in halftime, but they're going to have to do something with it. With that, why don't we head down to the football field and catch up with the British Eights. And with that, I think we're going to have to put our microphone maybe back out in harm's way with the wind. But the British Eights take the field for their halftime festivities, and we'll let you enjoy those for a while.
Cinematic storytelling, the Holy Grail. Author presents us with our work, King of the Britons, on his quest to seek the Holy Grail. And as with any epic cinematic Albion so that we may bring you the following very important message from random monks chanting but smacking themselves in the head. Arthur is not alone in his search for the Holy Grail. Indeed, he has several brave and valiant knights joining him on the quest, including Sir Lancelot the Brave, Sir Galahad the Pure, Sir Robin the not quite so brave as Sir Lancelot, and of course, Sir not appearing in this picture. After much searching and questing, these heroic knights must take respite around their table, their round table. And the minstrels did play it a jaunty tune called The Knights of the Round Table.
Now then, how about a very short intermission?
There you go. How are you doing?
I never wanted to be a barber anyway. I wanted to be a lumberjack, leaping from tree to tree as they float down the mighty rivers of British Columbia. The giant redwoods, the large, the fir, the mighty Scots pine. With my best girlie by my side, we sing. And lastly, the British ape leaves you with these words of wisdom. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. And this will help things turn out for the best. Always look on the bright side of life. And now, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet for the greatest fight song in the MIAA. Here indeed is the greatest fight song in the MIAA.
We are cleaning up the grounds. There's many gravestones that are tipped over or cracked or buried under years of debris. So we've been picking up sticks and pulling weeds, making it look a lot cleaner, as well as uncovering some graves that probably haven't been seen for 50 years or so. So it's been really emotional experience to be able to see some of these graves that haven't been seen in so long, and hopefully get them seen again by family or just anybody passing through.
We can't go back and stop the Holocaust from happening, but we can try and fight against the lasting effects of it, and trying to make sure that these people are remembered and they're cared for, because their families are, some of them may not be around anymore to take care of these graves. So it's very important that just because someone did something awful, that we will not allow that to continue to have an impact on these people.
Even though this is something very small, we're undoing some of the hate and fighting against hate and anti-Semitism that was like why this was destroyed.
It gives us a chance to honor those who were affected by the Holocaust. A lot of these people actually died before the Holocaust, and their families may not be able or never got the chance to be able to come here and care for their graves. And a lot of the destruction that happened, it's giving us students a chance to fight against the acts of the Holocaust, and I think that's the most important part.
I became interested in this program because it seemed like a great opportunity. I know a couple of students who are in my sorority who had talked about this program, and whenever they talked about it, they said it was by far their favorite experience at Albion and wanted to try it out.
I think that this program is just completely incredible, and its ability to try and reshape people's minds and show people the human side of the Holocaust, and see that while we're not dealing with actual victims here, we're dealing with people that lost the ability to have someone to care for them because of the Holocaust. And the ability to do something against hate and prejudice, to make sure that these people are not lost to the sands of time, is something I think that is really inspiring, and something that more people should do.
Back here at Sprankle-Sprandel Stadium, and get it out here eventually. How's that? Sprankle-Sprandel Stadium. It was actually a bit of a problem with a cookie that I had kind of going down at the same time that time, Jimmy. So
is that the story we're going with?
This time there was chocolate chip getting in the way. How's that? So we'll go that way. The first half stats, they were ugly, to say the least, but they are the first half stats, and you have them right now.
Yes, sir. The score at the half, Trine 49, Albion 7. 15 first downs for Trine to 9, and Albion, you'd think, if you were to just say that, you'd say the score was relatively close. But you look how those drives happen, and we'll get to the individual stats in a moment. For Trine, 24 carries for 263 yards through the air. Let's see, passing yards 172, 5 for 6 through the air, so extremely efficient, hitting the deep ball on a couple of occasions. For Albion, 25 carries for 68 yards and 10 of 21 for 134 yards through the air with 2 costly interceptions. Time of possession does not tell the story. Albion leads 16 minutes, 24 seconds to 13:31 and change. However, again, the scoreboard reads 49-7. And if you're wondering how that happened, if you're just tuning in, well, the Trine Thunder got a strip sack on the Britain's opening drive. The very next play, Evan Wise rushed it in for 20 yards and a touchdown with 13:39 remaining in the first quarter. Lamar Carswell then hit a 33-yard run at the 10:52 to play mark in quarter number 1. Extra point made it 14-0. The Brits responded with a 17-yard touchdown pass from Kyle Thomas to Sean Koski. The extra point 14-7, but that is the last time the Brits would score in the first half, as Evan Wise would hit Jeffrey Barnett for a 9-yard touchdown score into the end of the first quarter. He would then go back to Barnett for a 77-yard touchdown pass early in the second quarter. Carswell got a 5-yard score midway through the quarter, and then Carswell also hit a 72-yard touchdown run. That was his second big scamper of the game, third touchdown run of the game. And then the scoring was completed with an Evan Wise pass to Jeffrey Barnett for 40 yards, and that was the one with the SportsCenter top 10 catch. Probably about the best catch I think I've seen.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this quite a while.
And we've seen a couple of pretty nice catches because there have been some very talented wide receivers, not only for the Britons but also the teams that we have played. And obviously, as you said, Jimmy, you know, we will credit anybody, whether they're on our side or the opposing side, with a nice play. And that was an amazing catch by Barnett.
Great play is a great play, and certainly take our hat off to the young man for the concentration. Individual stats for Trine: Evan Wise, 5 of 6 for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. Lamar Carswell leads all rushers, 8 carries for 195 yards. That's a 24.4 yard per carry average. I don't know if he's going to get that for the season, 24 yards a carry, but if he did, I think I'd give him the ball 100 times a game.
Yeah, I would too.
See if he could get 1,000 yards in a game. Evan Wise, 8 carries, 51 yards. Mark Wilson, 7 for 29. Jeffrey Barnett caught 4 of the 5 passes for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. For the Britons, Kyle Thomas, 10 of 21 for 134, 1 touchdown and 2 costly interceptions. Patrick Zarnecki, 10 carries for 39 yards. Freeman also chipped in, 4 for 14. Through the air, Zarnecki, 1 catch for 33. Poor had the most catches in the first half, 3 for 27. Marlon Martin, 2 for 23. Sean Koski, 2 for 37, and a touchdown. And again, 2 interceptions, both of them by Marcus Winters. Got a nice return on that second interception. The defense for Trine, we used the word stingy in the pregame. And I think you look at the scoreboard and even the way that first drive ended for the Brits with the strip sack in the red zone right there. They have played tremendous defense, and we wanted to know what they would do when they were tested. And they're playing a decent Britons team today on the road, and they have shown up.
I guess so.
This is about really, that's as good a first half as you'll see. 49-7 as we get ready to kick off half number 2, Jim.
You know, I will give you this. Trine has allowed only 223 yards of total offense per game to this point of the season, and the Brits already have over 200 yards of offense in the first half. But when you look at the scoreboard, that's when it gets really ugly at 49-7. So they've done a good job of holding the Brits' offense out of the end zone, and their offense on the other side has been explosive this afternoon. And John, right next to us right now, getting out of the wind just a little bit. I'll tell you what, on the sideline, you have that same vantage point as all the players down there, and you've got the big frown on your face the same way those guys did. This was just a nasty first half.
Yeah, nothing's going right for them. You know, not getting some calls. You know, not doing very well in the pass rush. They're getting controlled on both sides of the ball on the line. But, you know, Trine's legit.
Yeah.
They got great players. They got amazing speed. And I think what's most frustrating for Albion is that, you know, Albion's not a bad team, and they have some good secondary. I think Rayshawn Robinson and Honorat and some other guys, they're one of the best corners in the
Michael Henry
in the conference, but they're getting controlled right now.
They really are. So the Brits will kick off here to get things going in the second half. And they trail 49-7. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a situation as John heads to the sideline for us. They're going to have to, refocus, Jim. I think we summed it up the best at the end of that first half. It is now a 0-0 game, I would think, in the coach's eyes.
If you've ever played with an Etch-a-Sketch made in Bryan, Ohio, you would know that you just shake that thing and reset it, start over. This one goes out of the end zone for a touchback.
Good idea. Jeffrey Barnett was the young fellow back there chasing it down. And the Brits able to drive it right out of the end zone with that one.
Coming out for this drive. You wonder if the score stays what it is, Jimbo.
Yeah.
You wonder how long Mr. Wise is going to stay under center today. I think that he's shown enough.
Yeah, I think so.
Point. I might, if they are able to get another score on the board before the Brits can respond and make it 56-7, I have to think if you're the coaching staff for the Thunder, you see what else you have in the cupboard, so to speak.
Interesting, at halftime, we got a chance to chat with his mom, who is a good friend of our producer/engineer, and came up and chatted a little bit.
That
and
was cool.
Said that, man, he just loves playing football. His senior year, and he's going to hate for this to be his last year of football as Carswell gets a nice gain on first down across the 30 to about the 33-yard line.
I'm going to be honest with you. As good as he is, it does not break my heart that this is the last time.
Well,
we'll see him. He's a tremendous football player.
The thing that really will amaze you is the fact that, he actually had to sit and wait his turn to get in and be the full-time quarterback this year.
Yep.
That's how talented the quarterbacking spot has been for Trine the last 4 years. And when you watch Evan Wise run this football team today, he does a wonderful job. Ball's up in the air. Can the Brits get on it? Yes, they have.
Yes, sir.
They scooped it, in fact. Heading up the sideline is Fullerton, and he's on his way at the 5 and in for the touchdown.
Oh, we found one thing Mr. Wise finally cannot do on the football field, and that's tackle a linebacker who has a head of steam run into the end zone.
Tried to hand that one to Lamar Carswell, and you see this ball get stripped right there.
And it drips and drabs and drips and drabs, and that's the play before. But that ball took a friendly hop up into the hands of big number 45. And for once, we had a sealed run there, Jimbo, off right side.
Joe Fullerton was able to scoop that ball up and run it in for the opening touchdown here for the Brits in the second half. And let's just see maybe if this will turn fortunes around a little bit. Hey, I've seen ball games.
Yeah.
I've seen ball games turn in the second half as the extra point is up and also good. And just like that, the Brits now have their first score of the second half. It was a turnover and a quick score that opened things up for Trine in the first half. Maybe this will do the same thing for the Britons in the second, Jimmy.
And stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Again, there is no 35-point possession. It's one possession at a time. You made the most on defense of that one. You kept them from getting a first down, forced a turnover, and did a turnover that turned in directly into a touchdown. So if you're looking for something, again, building blocks, you're looking for something as a defense. You forced a turnover with the ones out on the field, scooped it up, took it to the house. A little more confidence.
John Bolello down on the sideline. That's got to make everybody a little happier on the sideline, John.
Oh, yeah, they definitely sparked energy on that play, and they really need to build off that. That's their starting point. They can't allow any more quick touchdowns. They got to at least hold them to field goals and try to chip away.
Barnett back there along with Mark Wilson down around the 5-yard line as the Brits will kick this one off, and Barnett will be the recipient of the ball at the 5. Across the 15 and the 20, puts it into another gear at the 40, up the sideline at the midfield stripe, and he's on his way. Breaks a tackle at the 20, a little head bob, and he's in for the touchdown.
And no laundry on the field, so what little momentum the Britons had was just pretty much eviscerated by a tremendous return.
Barnett with 90 on that one, and you just see this. There's just too many guys standing and watching this thing. And Barnett able to step out of a tackle there at the 30. It looked like he was close to the sideline down around the 25-yard line, but the official really had his back to that one, and we couldn't tell whether he stepped out or not at the 25, but he was very close there. It doesn't really matter. He took it back and answered the touchdown just like that. It's 55-14 with the extra point coming. Britt's going to have to just go back to the basics this next week and tackling. Extra point is good. And make it 56-14. So we've only played a minute in the second half, and we scored 14 points.
It's the up-and-down football game we were hoping for. However, I'd like to see those touchdowns leveled out a little bit more instead of giving up 8 to the Thunder. Maybe give them, say, 2 or 3
Yeah.
And the Britons take 5, and it'd be a little bit more of a game. But 56-14, the Thunder living up to their team name, so to speak. They have brought the Thunder today.
Tackling has not been good for the Britons this afternoon. I guess we'll give credit to the Trine Thunder for being just too elusive maybe to tackle, but oh my goodness. Just when you get the break that you need, and maybe you've got the momentum heading your direction, all you needed really was to be able to get your defense back out there and stop them, and turn things around, and instead you can't even stop the kick return that goes 90-plus. For the opening touchdown. They officially call it 95 now for Jeffrey Barnett, who has just had a wonderful day this afternoon here in Albion. He's going to remember this afternoon of his senior year as probably one of his better.
Well over 200-plus yards from, well, I guess technically total yards, not from scrimmage, but well over 200 total yards so far.
So the kick will drive Zarnecki to the 5, and he will field it there and look for an opening at the 23. He'll be knocked down. It'll be first down and 10 now for the Britons after 2 lightning plays to open things up for scores here in this third quarter. And now maybe things will settle down just a little bit. If you're a Brits fan, you're hoping for more lightning and maybe a little less lightning coming from that Thunder team. But goodness gracious. 56-14, the Trine Thunder just responding to everything this afternoon that the Britons have been able to do. And I think we're going to change quarterbacks. It sure looks that way.
Yep.
So we have Blanzy in at the quarterback spot now, and he'll hand to Freeman. And Freeman will work his way for a couple of hard yards there off the right side across the 25 to the 26. And you're seeing Sam Blanzy now, the junior from Grand Point Park, Michigan, coming in to play football here as quarterback in the second half. Blanzy again with doubles to the top and doubles to the bottom, and he'll fake the handoff and throw the ball up to the top of the football field. And I'll tell you what, hit young Mr. Tyler Sykes in the worst possible spot, right in the hands, and he dropped it.
Well, that's that 2 moves ahead, thinking 2 moves ahead. You peek up to see the space you have between yourself and the defender, and you forget to do the most important part, which is catch the ball. You can't run after the catch if you don't catch.
So Sykes will switch back to this side now, and Blanzy will drop. He has heat coming. He throws the football up to Poor, right on the money, and Poor drops the ball at the midfield stripe. That one placed just about as perfectly as you could possibly have it, and Colin Poor couldn't pull it in, which would have been a nice pickup into Trine territory, and instead the incompletion will cause a 4th down, and the Brits going to have to kick this one away.
And you're definitely going to see the run defense of the Britons tested from this point forward, because with a 42-point lead, you're probably going to see a lot of running and a lot of churning of the clock, trying to sustain drives and just get out of here with a win relatively unscathed.
High snap, Blanzy pulls it down. He's going to run this one because he really didn't have much of a choice, and he'll be knocked out of bounds across the 30 at the 35. That'll be a first down.
I don't know if that was a designed play.
No, I don't think so. It was a high snap, and Blanzy brought it down, saw the heat coming, and he also saw that he had a wide open sideline to run to, and I think he just quickly made up his mind, hey, I'm going to make something happen, and with that, it's a first down. Brits will maintain possession of the football.
I suppose that's a case of yelling, what are you doing? Until he gets the first down, then you say, hey, great idea, great play.
I had tough situation, but Blanzy now keeps the offense on the field, and he'll throw this one complete underneath at the 40-yard line, and that one will go to Brian Blanzy, his brother.
About and 5 there.
The Blanzy brothers hook up for a nice first down pickup, and they keep the football in Brits' possession. Again, Freeman, the running back, to the left of Blanzy in the backfield. Triples go to the top, single to the bottom, and Blanzy drops to throw. He's got time, and he guns this one up to Poor, who has thrown a little bit underneath of him.
Are you kidding me?
And that ball kind of died on him just a little bit. Kyle Wiswill had the protection on that one, and again, would not allow the back to come back to the football, Jim, and that's why your complaint, I think.
Oh, it made a play on the ball, but he had to run through the receiver to get back to the underthrown ball.
3rd down now and 5 for the Britons.
At least an illegal contact.
No call made, and the ball goes back here to the 40-yard line for the Britons. Low snap, but Blanzy tosses it out in the flats to Freeman on the screen pass, and Freeman will be close to a first down. It'll just depend on where they mark him out of bounds. They'll say he got to the 45, but not the 46, so it'll be 4th down and 1, and I've got to believe you leave the offense on the field right now.
I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? Down 42. Not like you're really taking a risk.
Not at all. Sean Koski, the wide receiver here on this side. Triples up on the top, and the Brits looking to the sideline with 16 on the play clock. Blanzy and Freeman in the backfield. They need a yard to keep the football. 4th down. They're going to sit and wait and watch. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, 1. Blanzy calls for the ball. He got it just before it went to 0, and the completion will be good for a first down into Trine territory. Colin Poor is the young fellow that made the catch. And it'll be first down for the Britons.
And if they're holding that to the very end to see if maybe they could get Trine to jump.
Elverson Mitchell will now check in at running back here for the Brits as they go with several new faces here in this second half. As Blanzy now trying to keep this offense alive. Fake the ball to Mitchell, and Blanzy will keep it. Follow Mitchell into the hole. He'll be across the 45 at the 44. Maybe give him the 43 and a half. No, they'll say 44 exactly. Give him 4 on that first down run.
Different quarterback, different running style. Blanzy a little more of an upright quarterback, but a bigger quarterback. So when he wants to just pretty much run north-south, he puts his body forward. He's getting basically 2 yards just for falling forward.
Blanzy was the young guy that we all kind of expected to be the quarterback this year. And then Thomas transferred in, the freshman, and he throws this one over Koski's head at the 30. And he takes a swat as he gets knocked down by
48 and 33, Demeester and also Hunter Hyatt.
So Hyatt a substitution in at linebacker here for the Thunder this afternoon.
And that would certainly explain why the pass was as overthrown as it was. You don't have much of a line of sight, and you see 2 guys imminently coming, ready to lay the wood.
3rd down and 6 right now. Blanzy operating in the pistol. Got Zarnecki in the backfield with him. He has some heat. He's going to throw it to Zarnecki, his outlet receiver, and he'll catch it, but just a short gain as he gets wrapped up right away by Zach Demeester, and Demeester knocking down and sets up a 4th down now and 5.
If you've gone for it to this point, you're going to keep going for it. Again, the Britons have nothing to lose, down 56 to 14. Just over 10:30 to play, quarter number 3.
4th down at about 5 for the Brits. Able to get that number the last time they went for it on 4th down. This time the blitz is picked up, and Blanzy will throw it, and it's going to be picked off down around the 23-yard line by Khalil Hill. And I believe it will be an interception, and it's probably pretty much as good as a punt, really, on this situation.
Khalil Hill with an excellent job of going on that sideline right there. You only need the 1 toe down in college, and he definitely did not get much more than that, Jim. Another good catch by Trine, this time on the defensive side.
3rd interception of the afternoon by the Trine Thunder, who had 9 coming into this football game. Now they're at a dozen. And again, it puts the Thunder at the 11. If that would have been an incompletion, the ball would have been all the way back here to the 45-yard line. So if you're a Thunder fan, you probably hope that Khalil Hill would have knocked that one just out of bounds. But instead, it'll be Thunder football, 1st and 10, and they'll go to the ground.
And again,
Britt's not able to tackle in the interior of that line, which allows the running back to cut outside. And Mark Wilson with 11 on 1st down will set up another 1st down.
New quarterback in there, Jim Andrew Duckett, number 15, the junior out of Niles, Michigan. Same body type as Wise, so I didn't see the number at first. I mean, look at him from the side. It's basically the exact same guy.
He looks like a clone pretty much, doesn't he, huh? So Duckett comes on to play quarterback probably for the rest of the afternoon. You asked the question early. There's the answer. He'll turn again and hand off.
And that's all you have to do to move the chains is just turn around and hand the ball off to a running back. Then they could probably go 5 quarterbacks deep at this point.
Wilson will get almost 8 on his first down carry as he moves across the 40-yard line. And again, the Britons not doing a very good job of tackling this afternoon as now Duckett in the football game at quarterback.
4 down linemen for the Brits.
Second down and a couple here. And they'll go right back to the run. Ball's on the ground again, and the Britons, I think, have it again.
Yes, sir.
And
it's
you
the
will.
Second consecutive offensive, or no, well, 2 out of 3 offensive possessions result in turnovers on running plays going to the left-hand side.
You can kind of understand it with a backup quarterback not really having the feel necessarily for that running back and where he's going to be, and he's trying to hand it to Mark Wilson. Wilson, the senior out of Indianapolis, not able to come up with that handle, and the ball on the ground, and the Brits able to pick it up.
And this may be a case where, because you're going down the depth chart, might be a combination of players who don't normally get on the field at the same time. So there's not that same communication and comfort level as there might be with the typical starting lineup.
Mitchell again, the running back to the right here of Blanzy, and Blanzy will hand it to Mitchell. Mitchell gets out of the hands of the first defender there from Trine, but it's wrapped up really quickly after only a pickup of about 2. And again, DeMeester, the young man that made the tackle there for Trine, gave him only about a yard on that carry, so second down and 9. Mitchell again stays in with Blanzy. He'll go to the right side now with doubles to the top and doubles to the bottom. 8:42 to play in the third quarter, and the Brits have already given up 56 points. Blanzy going to pull this one down and run, but we have Laundrie in the backfield, probably a holding call. Blanzy ahead to the 20.
I'd have to think so.
But where that one was thrown was exactly the spot where Sam Blanzy had his ability to make the cut up the field, and probably because of a block in the back or a hold by the offensive line, and it looks like it's going to be a holding call this time.
I think it's going to be a hold, and I think it's going to go against number 66, Travis Myrick, based on the reaction he had. He was the last one speaking with the official and walked away vehemently shaking his head.
So the holding call goes against the Britons instead of being first down and 10 down at the 20-yard line. The hold will go against the hometown crowd, and it will be a second down now at about 20. Make it 19. As the Britons bring Mitchell off the sideline again, and Zarnecki back into the football game. Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom. Zarnecki, the only running back, he's to the left now of Sam Blanzy in that backfield. Blanzy hands it off to Zarnecki, and Zarnecki gets tripped up just after the line of scrimmage. He'll get forward across the 45 to the 44-yard line. So he gets about 5 of those back, and it'll set up a third down now and about 14 for the Britons.
Coming up, folks, we'll give you information on homecoming, so stay tuned. As a Brit alum, you'll want to stay tuned for information on homecoming coming up.
Coach sent us one a little while ago, Jim, a double actually, and I just have to agree with him, wondering what happened to the Brits here today. It has been a tough afternoon for the Britons here. Third down, here comes the blitz. Brits pick it up. Blanzy under pressure, throws, caught. Did he get a foot in? Let's see.
Official shaking his head to the affirmative.
So brother to brother as he throws that one to Brian Blanzy on the out down around the 24-yard line. How many times have they done that in their backyard, you wonder? They'll say
Roughing the quarterback, low hip below the knees, 97 defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first.
They've got their mic really cranking here today. So not only a completion from Sam Blanzy to Brian Blanzy, but also a roughing the quarterback penalty afterwards. And they will.
Timeout. Trine, the first timeout.
Trine wants to talk things over. They've had things going their way all afternoon long, and this is one thing they don't want to disrupt their flow here, I'm sure, on the afternoon. As we get down to John on the sideline. John, how about that Kalamazoo-Alma game? Any updates on that one?
Olivet is now up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It is now up 13-3 over Kalamazoo early in the third quarter. And Adrian now has the lead over Lakeland halfway through the second quarter, 17-13.
There you go. So Adrian over Lakeland this afternoon, off to a good start. And Olivet leading here in the second half as well. And we'll head to Olivet next week, so it'll be an interesting ball game to see how that one goes next week, Jimmy, as we make our way around the conference. It'll be the first time that we'll get a chance to go over to Olivet and see a ball game from there. And we're looking forward to bringing you all the action from Olivet next week. Britton's have to get some things figured out right now, and they have a great field position to do it. 7:26 to play in the third quarter. They have the football. They're on the short end of a 56-14 score at this point in time, but they have the opportunity to close in on that one here as they fake the ball to Zarnecki and they throw to Koski in the end zone, but he's out of bounds.
Led him a little too far towards the near sideline right there.
You kind of wonder how this is going to affect everything this next week with Thomas having a bit of a rough afternoon this afternoon, and then Sam Blanzy coming in and taking over here in the second half. Whether Blanzy can play his way into a first-string job next week as we head over to Olivet. And that, I'm sure, has a lot to do with how he plays through the next 22 minutes of this one this afternoon and how everything shakes out as the week goes on.
Sometimes coaches ride the hot hand. Other ones like to establish a starter and stick with that starter. But on a day like today, it's hard to find a quarterback who has a hot hand.
Fake the ball, and Blanzy's going to get thrown down in the backfield. He did get rid of the football, but they're going to say he was down before he threw it, and they're going to march this football back to about the 17-yard line, call Blanzy down, and make it a third down and long.
That was Malik Miles, number 11, on the speed rush right there. He's on Blanzy's hip before the play could develop. Speed not only on the offensive side, Jim, but speed on the defensive side. A common theme for the Trine Thunder today.
Miles last year had 3 sacks on the afternoon. Remember, he opened everything up with a strip sack to start things off and set the Trine Thunder's offense on the path that has been on here the rest of the afternoon, as he gave the ball back on that very first series of downs deep in Britton's territory. We got a flag on the ground as we throw this one into the middle of the end zone, and again 2 flags back there and another holding call against the Britton's offensive line. And I would have to believe the Trine's going to decline this one, which will set up a 4th down now at about 16 for the Britons. But we'll see. They'll look on the sideline and they will decline that one.
Holding, 66 offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And that's 2 times in a row now that 66 has unfortunately gotten his number called.
Travis Myrick again, the senior. Not the way you want to be recognized in a game.
With that, the Britons will bring the field goal team out. Fabry will come out to try to make this a 56-17 game. And we do have a
timeout
player down in the end zone. I'd really missed that one. We have trainers out in the back of the end zone. Marlon Martin has not come back in this ball game, Jim, and he's sitting down on the training table right now. A leg injury early has kept the speedster sophomore on the bench for the second half, and in fact he was down most of the first half as well.
A right leg injury from what it appears, and I know when we did a sideline report with John to begin the second half, he had not yet come out, and he came out while John was talking, and he was definitely favoring that right leg. So do not expect to see him again today. Folks, want to let you know that you can save October 20 and 21 for homecoming weekend. Homecoming is a fantastic time to reconnect with classmates, friends, and former faculty. This year, alumni have the opportunity to connect with current students, faculty, and community members at athletic and music events and class reunions. Registration closes soon on October 18. So visit albion.edu/homecoming. Remember, that's the 20th and 21st. Register now, albion.edu/homecoming.
Brian Blanzy was the young fellow that was hurt and laying in the back of the end zone. He was able to make it on the his own power off to the sideline. That was good news. The field goal try will be no
Wide
good,
left.
just wide left, and that will be the first time this year that Fabry has missed a field goal, as he came in this afternoon at 6 for 6 with a long of 39, and that one basically was about a 27-yarder that he pushed to the left just a little bit, and unfortunately that's just been the way the game's gone all day long here for the Brits.
For folks at home who are watching, when you see your team's down 42, you wonder why they try a field goal. I would care to hazard a guess to say execution.
Yeah.
They haven't executed a whole lot today that you can put on film and say we did a good job of this or a good job of that. And you wanted to see a successful field goal execution. And unfortunately, the wind and the kick hooked left.
Handoff goes again to Wilson, and Wilson follows that big offensive line right up the middle of that football field for about 5 as he's at the 25-yard line.
But Joe Stegmeyer cleaned up on the tackle right there, 45 getting some playing time. I'm sorry, that's the wrong team, 45 Fullerton.
Andrew Duckett is the quarterback again for the Trine Thunder here as they're starting to go into their second and third team players here this afternoon with this big lead. And they'll go right back to Wilson again. And Wilson just kind of loses himself in the middle of that offensive line, and they just continue to push forward. And he'll have a first down as he gets about 6, almost 7 on that carry.
Play like that, you look at yards after contact, and I think he got about 4 or 5 after initial contact. The problem with that stat in a day like today, Jim, is you've had a number of runs where they haven't put a hand on him until he's near the end zone.
Yeah.
So you have to make contact in order to get yards after contact. And the offensive line and the running backs and quarterback for Trine, just too much.
Has not been a good afternoon for the Britons defense and their tackling ability. This time they will actually throw Mark Wilson for a loss of about a yard. As Davenport, first guy in on the play there for the Britons, that'll be a loss of 1. They'll set up a second down and 11. But as you said, Jimmy, there's been half a dozen times this afternoon where there's been a young guy in a white shirt that's 45, 50 yards up the sideline and has yet to even see a purple jersey.
Even that play, 3 people ultimately to bring him down. The first one hits about 5, 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He only ends up losing 1.
So second down and 11 now as they'll turn and go back to Wilson again, and he'll try to cut up the left side of that football field for a couple, and he'll be across the 30 to about the 33.
Rare case where an arm tackle actually worked. I think he might have been going for a strip, got that arm tackle and kind of forced his feet to wrong foot himself. Fell forward for a decent gain, but could have been a lot worse.
Third down now and 7 for the Trine Thunder. 4:14 and counting third quarter, and the Britons find themselves down by a bunch, 56-14 here this afternoon. But a tough afternoon here if you're a Britons fan. Everybody in purple and gold this afternoon expecting a much better go of it, I think, this afternoon. But, boy, it was just an early Thunder attack that really put him behind the 8 ball here today. Duckett will keep this football, and he'll be close to the first down as he tumbles his way across the 40. It's just going to depend on where they're going to mark him. Right in front of that stick, so they're going to be able to find out whether he's got a first down or not by just looking over, and they're going to say he's short by a couple of inches.
I think
he is
go for it.
Just shy of the 41-yard line with the nose of the football, and that stick will stretch just to the other side of the 41-yard line, and they will leave the offense on the field. And Duckett will come up under center, and you got to believe he's coming forward, I would have to believe. And that is exactly what he's doing, and the push will be enough for the first down as the pile still moving at the midfield stripe. Somehow Duckett came forward for about 9 yards on that one. Looked like everything was really kind of bottled up at the line of scrimmage, and then the left side of that line just pushed forward, and Duckett was behind it. I was expecting a first down by a yard. He ended up getting 9 on that carry, and his first down now at the midfield stripe.
Sneaker, a dive play, typically called that because the quarterback's going to get to the chains and just pretty much dive forward and end that play to avoid contact. But the offensive line continued to push, and the defense did not do its job to stop right there, Jim.
Duckett at midfield turns, and he hands again. And this time Wilson will sweep the left end, and he'll get 5 on first down. Just has been that way. That offensive line has just absolutely opened up holes, whether it's in the middle of the football field, sealed the ends all afternoon long, and these runners have just been able to go anywhere they want to this afternoon for nice pickups on first down, 5 yards.
We talked about identity. This is the identity of the Trine Thunder, Jim. Smash mouth.
They'll turn and again hand to Wilson, and again Wilson will be forward close to the first down stripe. They're going to mark him down, I think, at about the 41.5. Jose Rodriguez makes the tackle for the Britons, but Third down now and a short 2 for the Trine Thunder.
Name we have not called a whole lot today.
Yeah, no
which
doubt.
is surprising considering the number of times they have run the ball. Usually he is the one involved in the stop in a majority of those plays. At least that's what it seems like.
Minute and 32 seconds to play in this third quarter. And a score that you would expect to see at the end of a ball game, 56-14. Both teams scored on their opening drive here in the second half. In fact, the Britons picked up a fumble and ran it in, and then Trine scored on their first play, and since then we've had no scores since then, but they have done an awful lot of this as Wilson gets ahead for the first down, moves the sticks one more time for the Thunder. And with a minute and 10 to play now, it'll be first down and 10 on the Britons' 35-yard line.
Certainly no urgency on the part of the Thunder at this point. Up comfortably 56-14. They can afford to be very deliberate on offense.
I think the Thunder would be happy just to pack this one up at the end of 3 and head home with this one. But we've got 15 more minutes of football after this quarter's done. Again, they're going to work Wilson hard here as they keep this football on the ground. He spins and finds an opening to the 30-yard line. Second down now and 5. They have just absolutely been unable to get a good handle on none of these running backs and put them to the ground early, Jim. And once they get loose, it's 5 yards here, 50 yards there. And with that, that'll bring the third quarter to the end. So we played 3 here at Albion, and the Britons fall 56-14 at this point in time.
Jim, want to let folks know Albion College hosts a statewide celebration of ceramics next Saturday starting at 8 a.m. at the Bobbitt Visual Arts Center. This one-day biennial conference showcases the excellence of ceramic art and its diversity of techniques. This community event is open to the public, though registration is required. So go to michclay.com for more information, michclay.com.
Well, if you wanted a statement game and you're a Trine Thunder fan, this one might be the one that you were looking for. If you look at the rest of their schedule here this year, they go to Kalamazoo, or actually they go home next week. They'll be home for the next 2 weekends. They'll have Kalamazoo coming their way, and then Hope on the 21st. On the 28th, they will be at Adrian. On the 4th of November, they will be at Alma. And then they end up their season with Olivet coming to town on the 11th. And for the Britons the rest of the way out, we'll be at Olivet next week with a 1 o'clock kick from Olivet. On the 21st, it'll be Alma here at 1 o'clock. Then they will travel to Wisconsin Lutheran on the 28th, and then Hope on the 4th, and we will be at that Hope game as well. And they will end up their season here against Kalamazoo on the 11th day of November. And again, the way that things have started right now, Coach Rundle and his guys not overly happy with the way that this season has been going, Jim.
512 total yards for the Thunder, 256 for the Britons, exactly twice as many yards. 172 on the air, pretty much even, but it's been all ground game. 340.
This time Rodriguez comes up and makes the tackle, but it's Wilson again with the football, and I think you're going to see Trine just do exactly what we're seeing, grind this thing out. They've got a young guy on the field right now, one of their offensive linemen. That's 91.
Timeout.
And 91, I do not have a number of 91 on any of my rosters. Do you have one there either?
No, sir. So, but this will happen in Division III football, as you'll get those last-minute number changes. So we apologize to the young man and his family. Again, we do not have a 91, but we'll get the name of that young man momentarily. We certainly hope that it's nothing serious and he's able to get up and walk this one off.
Got up in the wash there in the middle of that run, and I think it was part of the problem that he had. He just a lot of bodies all the way around him, and I think he got rolled up on an ankle or a leg, and hopefully he'll be okay as he's on the ground right now at the 26-yard line, 27-yard line.
Lamar Carswell, 10 carries for 204 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mark Wilson, 18 rushes for 85 yards. Evan Wise, 8 for 51. Wise also 5 of 6 for 172. That's about as efficient a game as you can have, and that's just a first half.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think he played much at all in the second half. I don't believe he started.
No, I think they went to their quarterback there. They switched quarterbacks the same time we did to open up the third quarter. So good news is he looks like he's getting off the sideline relatively well. He's got people that are helping him at that point in time, but the movement in the legs are good, and probably the closer he gets to the sideline, the less he's going to need anybody to really put some weight on.
Yeah, just seeing him put weight on both feet, though, is an encouraging sign because offensive and defensive linemen, some serious impact and collision on every play, and you get people just diving at everybody's legs, and it's potentially dangerous every snap.
Wilson again, the only running back, as the quarterback Duckett goes under center, and he fakes this one, and the Britons see him coming. They've got him trapped in the corner, and they will make him pay for it as they'll throw him down to the 35-yard line. Nice job by the Britons to come up and make that tackle. I think that was Jordan Carter, that came up and actually made the stop, but the Britons saw that one coming all the way, and that'll set up a 4th down now and 10 for the Trine Thunder at the Brits 35.
Despite the fact that Andrew Duckett, number 15, is a junior, that was an inexperienced play right there. I know that Wise has done a good job of being able to shake defenders, but not everybody is Mr. Wise either. And in that case, he should have known as soon as he got out of the pocket. Just airmail that one.
Austin Lynn was the guy that kind of sealed the edge that time. Lynn got held right there, no call. Man, I'll tell you what, if that's what they've been growling about all day long, Lynn broke containment coming around that end, and the jersey just went backwards. Nobody watched that one. The completion will be enough for a 1st down at the 23-yard line. I was kind of watching Lynn's jersey almost be ripped off his back on the top of that football field as he made that throw. Doesn't really matter. 1st down and 10. Nice job by Duckett to hook up for the completion and pick up the 1st down, keep the sticks moving.
Yep, do it until there's a flag on the field.
13:37 left in this football game. And the handoff again goes back to the halfback, and again, Mark Wilson finds his way inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line.
And the senior out of Indianapolis right there. Somebody had a hand on his foot just near the line of scrimmage. Then he burst forward for 11, 12 yards anyway. So again, yards after initial contact, something the Britons are absolutely going to have to clean up. Otherwise, every team is going to have its obvious blueprint for facing them.
Well, it has been 2 weeks in a row. Last week, Adrian just ran us up and down the football field, and it was a tough afternoon for us to be able to try to slow this thing down. And again, here this afternoon, Trine's running game has been more than what we could handle here early. And now at the 13-17 mark in the 4th quarter, this one all but in the books as the Brits trail 56-14. Again, under center goes Duckett. Walk backwards and hand that football off, and somehow Winters breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, spins outside, and it's dropped at about the 11. His helmet comes off, so he'll have to come out. We have a flag on the ground at the 9-yard line. We'll have to see what that's all about.
Be curious to see if that was no.
Holding against Trine.
So yet another case, Jim, where a player's in contact, gets his helmet ripped off, and there's no face mask call. It's the 3rd or 4th time that's happened today.
So it was a 2nd down and
1
short. Yeah, under 1 maybe. And this holding call is going to make it a 2nd down and long. But boy, I'll tell you, it's just been a rough afternoon for all Brits fans.
The Albion College volleyball team serves up a home match against MIAA rival Olivet College.
22, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
Bonfiglio was the young man that got called for the grab that time.
Wednesday night at 6:30 inside Kresge Gymnasium.
Wednesday night inside Kresge. There you go. As we work our way around, that's called the donut in the middle of yours there.
That was a customized spot right there. Just not the kind of stuff you would normally customize a spot with.
Not at all, man. They'll turn and hand off to a new running back, number 3, and again on my roster.
Number 3 is Nishan Jones, freshman out of Fort Wayne.
So there you go. Nishan Jones gets about a yard on 2nd down and 10.
Curious to see what high school he played for. There's a lot of really good teams in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area too. That's another good football market.
Oh, it is, no doubt about that, and they will keep him. Well, again, where they are at Angola, that's in their backyard to go down to Fort Wayne. But they have done a nice job of recruiting in 2 of the towns that I think are very solid football towns, Fort Wayne and Toledo.
Yep. St. Francis, another university in that area.
Duckett throws the quick out down to the 21-yard line, and this one is gathered in by Michael Harvey as he wraps up the intended receiver. And again, we've got a new number in there. Ja'Kai Wheatley?
Ja'Kai Wheatley.
John Harris Scott is we got 237s in there somehow. I've got 237s now.
Yeah, Ja'Kai
Wheatley would be your guy.
Is a freshman, 5'7", 165, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
And the Thunder will line up for a 36-yard field goal attempt. Play clock's running down again. No urgency, no need.
This one pretty much in the books there for the Trine Thunder right now, up 56-14. Trine with 2 timeouts. They've already used 1 right now. This will be their second.
And that's only because of the miscommunication.
Oh, Trine. Second timeout.
So 11-17 to play here in the football game, and we go down to the sideline and check on some scores there. John, how about it? What's going on around the conference right now?
Olivet is pulling away from Kalamazoo. They're now up 27-3 late in the third quarter. And another still close with that Adrian game, 20-13 at the half.
There you go. Adrian on top in that one, you say?
Yeah, that's right. Adrian up at the half over Lakeland.
There you go. So Adrian goes over to Lakeland in Wisconsin, and they're up at the half. And it looks like for the Britons right now, it's going to be a tough road going over to Olivet next week, too, as they've started to pull away from Kalamazoo now, Jim.
Again, it's the blueprint. You're looking at, going strength against strength. And even if their running game, Olivet's running game, isn't substantial, they are going to try to capitalize on the defensive line woes for the Britons.
Hibbett's going to give this a try instead of Garcia. And he has this one on its way, and it is wide to the left.
So that's the second field goal going in this direction. 1 missed wide left by each team. So they did come away with no points allowed on that drive, but it was a long drive, and they start with less than stellar field position.
And it was
6-yard line, I believe.
It was a stop that the Brits needed to make at about the 13-minute mark of the third quarter, not the 11-minute mark of the fourth quarter that maybe would have made this a football game.
Or the second quarter.
Yeah, or the first quarter, or you name it. But after that fumble recovery to open everything up in the third quarter, when you look like you have a little momentum, if you could have just stopped them at that point, but instead a 90-plus yard touchdown return on the kickoff really put the Brits right back under the pressure again. Koski with the catch at the 38. He'll get forward to about the 40-yard line. And again, a nice job by Sean Koski to come back on that football thrown by Sam Blanzy for the first down. And again, we'll just have to follow this week and see who's the quarterback next week, Jimmy.
Got a message from Anthony Hume, says number 91 is Bryce Samuelson.
There you go.
So appreciate the shout out there. Thanks for watching.
Fake the handoff and the throw up the field. And again, it's Koski, and Koski has room into Trine territory down around the 39-yard line.
Certainly hope Mr. Samuelson's okay.
Yeah, I hope so, too.
A whole lot of weight on those feet, but was able to walk off with assistance, and encouraging sign.
Looking over on the sideline, he is up on the trainer's table right now with his jersey off, so his day is over, but it doesn't look like it's anything serious. Hopefully he'll be ready to play again for you guys next week. Fake in the backfield and the throw up the left sideline on the money, but it's not pulled in by Sykes, who had serious coverage down in that area. And that was Essa Kelly, I think 19 down there.
Trevor Clark, a freshman.
There you go.
Good coverage by the freshman there, too. Did not turn his head around to the ball until the last second. Saw the receiver, but because he was so close step for step, he could stay within about a yard and not face guard.
Yeah.
Wait till he jumped, and he would be right in a position where he just turn around and get his hands up.
So it is a second down now and 10 as they turn and hand to Mitchell, and Mitchell will get a yard, maybe 2.
And those
Elverson Mitchell.
Those holes that Trine's able to enjoy in the running game, the Britons just are not able to get that same push with their offensive line.
So it's third down now and 9 as Freeman's back in the ball game here for the Britons. Blanzy's going to drop. Here comes the blitz. He'll throw it underneath of that. He's got his guy. That's 84 Kitka. Kitka gets wrapped up as he catches the football, and he'll get ahead for just a couple, and it'll be fourth down and about 7.
See if that was Starks or Konopka on the tackle right there. Couldn't tell if that was 31 or 27.
Kitka comes off, and Poor comes back on after the catch for a couple. And it's 4th down now and about, call it 8. 9:21 to play in this football game, 56-14. It has been a long afternoon for the Britons and their fans. This one thrown in the corner. Powell's got it. Was he in bounds? That's the question.
Official near the end zone saying no.
Nope.
So catch was hauled in, but not before both feet went out of bounds, and that'll turn it over with 9:11 to play in the game, 56-14. Trine leading the Britons.
Crowd has not been fantastic here today, but it has stuck around because it's such a pretty afternoon, and the wind has died down just a little bit as the afternoon has gone on, but it is still a windy afternoon here in Albion, Michigan. And the Thunder now trying to just run things out, I would believe, as Duckett will now go into that pistol look. Single back right behind him, and they'll turn and hand that ball off, and the Brits come up, make the tackle this time on number 3, Nishan Jones. And a nice job there by the Brits to keep Jones to just about a yard pickup. But again, a little too late with a little too little here, Jim, as they've not been able to do that all afternoon.
And different running backs and a different offensive line out there.
Oh, no doubt about that.
If this was first drive, first quarter, and we were able to, the defensive line of the Brits was able to hold them to a 1-yard gain and wrap up nice on a tackle, then that'd be something that you could energize your team with. But unfortunately, here it is late in the 4th quarter.
Duckett going to run this one himself, and he's going to run out of territory in a hurry. And again, quickly up there is 35 for the Britons there, Jose Rodriguez.
And also Dallas Reynolds, number 92, got him around the shoes. So half tackle for each as Rodriguez cleans up on that one.
3rd down now and 10 as Duckett really went nowhere, and the clock is moving. And that's, I think, exactly what the Thunder really are looking for right now anyway. Just have the ability to run that thing down to double zeros and get out of here.
Jacob Wickens, number 41, comes off the field. A little bit of discomfort after that play.
Jet sweep, and they'll hand it off. Coming this direction, but out of bounds, and they've got a holding call, I believe, on the Trine Thunder as they tried to set that sweep up. Got to believe that the Brits probably are going to decline that one, as that run only got a couple.
Holding, 80, offense. That penalty be declined, 4th down.
So as you said, Jim, they'll decline that one with 7:40 to play in the contest. Brits should get the ball back after a punt. We'll see if they can put a few points on the board before we go to the house.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, there really has not been much to root for this afternoon if you're in the purple and gold. It was a score early by the Brits offense, and then a score to open up the 3rd quarter on a fumble recovery and a touchdown. And past that, that's the offense this afternoon. Those are the points. That's all that happened. Fair catch will be made at the 22. It'll be Brits ball as Carter brings that one in.
Good idea on the fair catch there. Even though you want to do something at this point in the game, you also don't want to put yourself in a position where you're going to get potentially injured, and 3 Trine Thunder right around you. More than happy to assist you to the ground should you choose to try to advance the ball.
So that'll be 1st down Britons, and Blanzy will check back into the ball game. He'll send his brother up to the top of the football field, and he'll go up there with Sykes. And he'll turn around and hand to Zarnecki, and Zarnecki finds the running pretty good until he gets about the 28-yard line, and then he ran in headlong into Sam DeMeester. Took quite a hit, but he picked up about 7 on that carry on 1st down.
Also 82, Russell DeMarco. It's weird for me to see an 80 number player playing defense. Usually the 80s are reserved for the wideouts.
Fake the handoff, throw to Poor. Poor's got it in the flat. He's up to the 40, 41-yard line before he gets wrestled down.
Tackle made by 42, Elias Gates. Now we're getting into the Getting into the roster, Jimbo.
We're going deep into that roster right now, Jimmy. Off my board entirely and into your roster entirely. How's
I
that?
feel like Mel Kiper almost up here, able to identify players.
First down and 10, Brits 41-yard line, their own, as they turn again and fake the hand off to Zarnecki, and Blanzy will find some room to the 47. He'll go down there. First down run for about 6, maybe give him 5. Second down and 5. 6:07 in a game that has moved along pretty quickly. I guess that's the only thing we can be thankful for this afternoon, Jim, because the game has moved pretty quickly. As we're down under 6 minutes to play in this contest. Blanzy drops. Here comes the blitz. Delayed. He gets it out to Zarnecki. He makes the first guy miss at midfield. Now he'll cut it back towards the sideline and get a couple more yards up to the 42-yard line.
Good first down right there. Folks, visit GoBrits.com for the recap from all of today's contests involving Britain athletes. In addition, you are invited to follow the Britons on Twitter at twitter.com/GoBrits.
So first down for the Britons, 5:35. Clock is moving here in the fourth quarter. They find themselves down 56-14.
One of the benefits of running a slower offense in the second half is I can get those reads in finally.
And you're going to kind of wonder how this is going to work as Poor gets upended and doesn't come down with the football. Boy, I'll tell you what, he just kind of set him up for that one as he was watching. Joseph Domoglick was the young man that came in and tossed Colin Poor on his noggin.
Yep, and there's nothing dirty about that
Not
hit
at all.
either.
Nope.
He gave himself up going airborne. The only thing he could hit was his feet. Science did the rest.
And Domoglick was able to come in and come right underneath of him. Second down and 10. Here comes the rush. Blanzy gets away from it, rolling to his right, throws it away, and it's intercepted at the 35-yard line. And again,
second time.
Couldn't.
And you just got to throw it away, Jim.
Nick DeCantis was the young guy that stood over there and caught it. But again, this is the third interception out of 4 this afternoon that really has just been thrown right at a guy in a white shirt. So the ball again thrown. And how DeCantis caught it? Well, he was just standing there waiting for it, basically. It just would hit him right in the numbers.
Well, and the old joke that we always say is, you know, the linebackers and the some of the safeties and corners would probably be tight ends or receivers if they could catch.
Yep.
And in this case, the Thunder, with their hands drills, definitely just as skilled as the wideouts, making the plays when necessary.
Brandon Winters now the new quarterback for the Thunder as he turns around and hands that football off. And so we got all kinds of new names. Nishan Jones still at the running back spot. But they bring a new quarterback in.
Brandon Winters, a sophomore out of Toledo, 6 foot, 170 pounds. If I did a better Mel Kiper impression, I'd go ahead and talk more about that.
If you look at that 7, 8, and 9, all of them Toledo Central Catholic players out of Ohio, and Winters, Washington, and also you got Marcus Winters and Brandon Winters, probably brothers. So they have done a really nice job of going over and getting some players out of a very fine high school program in Toledo, Ohio, as the Brits this time blow this run up.
Good stop in the backfield there. Looked like 38 with the initial tackle. Nolan Rawlings, the junior, gets in on the stop.
And the clock now rolls down to the 4-minute mark here in this football game. 56-14. Britain's going to fall today. And hopefully they'll be able to keep that number intact. I don't want to see any more of them on that board yet this afternoon, but it does look like Trine's more than happy to try to run this clock out. And just as I say that, they're going to throw. Quarterback able to get out of the pocket, and he will run and give himself up after a short pickup at the 35-yard line.
And that's the fearlessness that a couple of hits will shake out of you as a quarterback. Normally you want to just, the first time you're in, you want to, you don't know what you don't know, so you go and you dive head first. You get a few hits like that, and that's where you start learning to slide or, throw that ball away.
Brandon Winters gets stopped for a pickup of about a foot, so it'll be 4th down and about 10, and Jordan Carter will drop back to receive this punt back on his 25-yard line. 3:05 and counting. And the Britain sports team is going to wrap this one up in a hurry. Big rush by the Britons, but they don't get there. And this punt's going to roll out of bounds down around the 20-yard line of the Britons.
Good kick, good roll in the face of pressure. The Thunder punting team has done an excellent job in the face of pressure, getting a few good kicks off, Jim, especially that one with the high snap that he was able to throw down in the first half and still get a good punt.
Yeah, that was an amazing kick because actually his safety right in front of him touched the football.
Yeah.
And he actually was able to field it at that point in time. The snap was such a bad one. I think the safety man, I don't think it was snapped towards him. He just tried to get a hand on it because it was such a horrible snap, and they were still able to get that kick off. So there we go. Britons again looking to throw one first. Koski's got it up the sideline, and he's still going. Oh, he ran out of real estate around the 30-yard line. Nice throw, nice catch by Koski. Just wasn't able to tightrope that sideline.
See the replay here. Tightrope is exactly the word I was going to use too. Football, they say, is a game of inches.
Yep.
And it was an inch to the left. If he's leaning inward, he's probably taking that one to the house.
So the catch puts the ball on the 33-yard line of the Trine Thunder, and it'll be first down and 10 here for the Britons. And they'll hand to Mitchell. Mitchell gets slowed down and then stopped after a short pickup in the middle of the field.
Give him a gain of about 2 on the play, maybe 1. Not much either way.
Second down, we'll say no gain, make it 10. Clock now down to 2:10 and counting.
Point of view is deceptive from up here.
Yeah, it really is. Mitchell again, the running back. Blanzy, the quarterback. He took over in the second half here for Thomas. Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom as we work our way under 2 minutes here in this football game. Handoff again goes to Mitchell, and this time he has a little more room as he'll be close to the 26-yard line before he goes down. Give him about 6 on that pickup, make it third down at about 4, and we're down to 1 minute and 40 seconds to play in this game. Brits, I think, also about as happy to get off this football field as the Thunder today. The Thunder, though, will be happier riding at home in their bus than the Britons are going to be in their locker room afterwards, having to answer to their coaching staff. Here comes the all-out blitz. They'll throw this underneath, and it will be close to a first down.
Marking about 2 yards past. They'll move the chains.
That's Mitchell who caught that little screen pass, and it'll be enough for a first down. Clock moving at 1 minute and 15.
The number of Britons who have lost their footing on this turf, though, Jim, as much as they practice on it and play on it, I'm surprised by that.
Makes you wonder just a little bit. I agree with you. Down to 1 minute to play in the ball game. Can Blanzy and the offense put one more score on the scoreboard before we go home here this afternoon? Looking to get it right here. Throws it to his brother, but it's overthrown. Boy, Brian was all by himself. He was wide open. And that ball just thrown a little bit too far and incomplete.
Too late also. Probably about 1 or 2 steps too late right there.
And
Good
Brian
pattern.
Blanzy now having a hard time getting up and putting some pressure on a right wheel. And that's not a good sign. Now he's okay, and it's amazing when you're 20 years old, 21 years old, how that ankle and that foot can regenerate as quickly as what that happens. He's still working his way with some hobbling here right in front of us now, but looks like Brian's going to be okay. Reaching down, working on the calf at this point in time. Sam in control of the offense right now. 53 seconds to go. Fakes to Zarnecki. Throws it onto the flat. That's caught by Poor, and Poor's down to the 10-yard line.
I'd like to see them punch one more in before the end here, Jim.
First down as they move this one just inside the 10-yard line, and that clock moving away. In fact, it's just at the 10 where they spot it.
Give the fans something to go home cheering about.
That would at least be a plus. I would say Zarnecki in the backfield. Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom. Blanzy steps back. 29 seconds to go in the ball game. 22 seconds now as he works that play clock down to 10, and he throws, and this one might have been tipped a little bit at the line of scrimmage because it didn't make its mark. That stops the clock with 17. And it sets up a second down now and goal to go from just inside the 10.
Going for Poor on that quick out right there.
Poor in the slot. Koski out here wide on this home side.
And 56-14 your score.
Brian Blanzy back in the slot on the top side, so that's good to see. 87 up there. And Sykes, the wide receiver, up on the visitor sideline. Blanzy drops, throws it across the middle. He's got the touchdown. Nice job by Colin Poore to wrestle that one in with 13 seconds left to go and make this a 56-20 game as Andrew Fabre comes off the sideline to try the extra points. But you're right, Jim. It's good to put one more score up on the board here to go home, at least with a good taste in your mouth.
I mean, look at the Albion crowd. Everybody's stuck around. People are standing up. They're clapping. They're cheering. They're happy.
Yep.
Look at the scoreboard. You're still down, 5 scores or whatever it is, but you're happy.
Yeah.
You put the last points on the board. You have something to be happy about tonight.
Extra point is good, and with that, it's 56-21 with just 13 seconds left to play in this ball game.
535 total yards for the Thunder compared to 417 for the Brits. 314 through the air for Albion and 103 on the ground. The flip of that for the Thunder, 187 in the air, 348 on the ground, 49 rushing attempts. Britons have 36 rushing attempts too. Time of possession pretty much even, 31 and change for Trine, 28.5 for Albion College, and I would have to think that unless they go for an onside kick and recover it,
this ball game's about to end.
13 seconds more of offensive possession before we call this one final.
Well, I looked back at all the stats and everything, and we'll go down to John one more time before we get out of here and get some scores as well after this kick. But you look back and wonder with the lopsided scores that they've had so far this year, how the time of possession has been so close. And I guess we watched it today. Lopsided score, time of possession very close, and that's unusual for the Britons because our time of possession has been down under 20 minutes a game. And, that's not a good situation. It has been basically the hallmark of this team to be able to score quickly, keep things going, and have to play. But today with the turnovers and just the ability for this Trine football team to come up with the big strikes that they had today, the Brits never really been in this ball game from really the second quarter on.
It's kind of the opposite of what we're used to seeing with Albion College too, Jim. Usually it's Albion, if they score quickly. And today it was all about the Trine Thunder and their ability to take huge chunks of yardage through the air and on the ground. Well-balanced attack to give them a big victory in conference play, their opening conference game.
Crowd's going to get up and get out of here in a hurry now. It's this one's in the books, 56-21. The Trine Thunder come into Albion this afternoon and just absolutely make a big statement here against the Britons as they took it over in the second quarter and never looked back. This has just been one of those ball games where you just have to take your hat off to the team that came in today because they came in to play and they played extremely hard. Goes all the way back to the very beginning of this football game where Trine basically found themselves, in control of everything because of that turnover early with the strip sack, and Evan Weiss ran in from 20 yards out for the touchdown, made it 7-0, Jim, and from that point on, it was just a scoring fest for the guys from Angola, Indiana.
Carswell scores from 33 yards out at the 10:52 mark of the first quarter. Trine gives up a touchdown as the Brits get back on the board. Koski with a 17-yard touchdown pass from Kyle Thomas about midway through quarter number 1, made it 14-7. From that point on, it was pretty much all Trine Thunder as Barnett catches a 9-yard pass and then a 77-yard pass in succession. With the end of the first quarter into the early part of the second quarter, Carswell then runs it in 2 straight times, first from 5 yards out at the 11:06 mark, then again from 72 yards out at the 6:48 mark. They cap the scoring in the first half with a 40-yard pass, Barnett from Wise. Extra point made it 49-7 at the half. The Brits get a touchdown on a fumble recovery to open up the second half, cut it to 49-14. And then, again, 2 more scores by Trine. Let's see, Barnett. Well, actually, it was every other possession pretty much at that point. As Fullerton gets that fumble recovery, Barnett gets the long touchdown, and then Poore caps the scoring with a 10-yard reception near the end from Blanzy. So At least you send the home crowd home happy with a touchdown at the end, even though they may not like the end result.
Well, the Britons, a very tough way to open this year up. Now they are 1-4. The Thunder now at 5-0. They are 1-0 in the conference. The Britons even up at 1-1 here, or 0-2. I'm sorry, in the conference. They lost to Adrian last week, and it will be on to conference foe Olivet next week, and we will be there with the play-by-play of that one. Jimmy, let's go through some real quick individual stats, and then let's wrap this up and get out of here.
Evan Wise leads them through the air, 5 of 6, 172 and 3 touchdowns. Carswell, 10 carries, 204 yards and 3 scores. Wilson, 1994, and Wise also had 8 for 51 through the air. Barnett, 4 catches for 150 and 3 scores. Bonfiglio had 2 catches for 33. And if you can cover for me for a second, I always have trouble toggling over to... You can
maybe
see
it
the
just
same
needs
thing I'm saying.
Maybe it just needs a friendly touch, but no, it's having some troubles with it today. It doesn't look at it any more than we do right now, I don't think. There we go.
There we go. Blanzy, 14 of 25 for 180. Both quarterbacks, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Kyle Thomas also 10 for 21, 134. Again, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Zarnecki leads them on the ground, 12 carries for 50 yards. And bear with me momentarily. Mitchell, 5 for 18. Freeman, 5 for 15 through the air. Koski, 5 for 125. Poor for 7 for 68. Both of those players had a touchdown. And that's pretty much it. Wasn't a pretty day, but again, at least the Britons scored last. Home crowd might not like the end result, but at least they get the last touchdown and can go home cheering a little bit.
Well, it was a tough one, 56-21. The Brits fall this afternoon on the Britain Sports Network, and we'll wrap it up and get out of here, Jim.
All right, for complete details on today's game as well as all other news and notes on the Britons fall sports, go to gobrits.com. Our thanks to the crews you can see on the screen. Ken Reeker producing the game, Nick Reeker, as well as Scotty Miller and Drea Hill. See, Ken, you threw me a curveball there by not updating the graphic. I also want to thank for Albion College Athletic Director Matt Aaron and SID Bobby Lee, always for the hospitality, always treating us so well, and we thank them so much for the opportunity to do these games. And it's been a production of Richer Productions and FJ Productions. Thank you to everybody for making today's broadcast possible, and thank you for watching, as always, on the Britain Sports Network. Have a great day, everybody.